just so you know, Michael, you are going to be recorded for this podcast. We're just going to ask you some questions. If if you have any questions for me or us, do you have any questions before we begin? Anything we should talk about, shouldn't talk about,
You know,
Michael?
I, I think I don't have any major questions. Like, am I allowed to cuss on this show? I don't know how the
Yes,
show
absolutely.
works.
You are allowed to curse as much as you would like to, sir.
All right, cool.
Alrighty.
I gotta admit, like, this felt so weird today. Like, normally I would get on, sit down on my computer, an hour and a half before an episode starts, and like run through songs and make sure all my notes are put together. But I got on 5 minutes before this started. No notes. I feel so vulnerable right now. This is the only time I felt nervous for for an episode in the longest time.
No
Yeah.
kidding.
Not.
Well,
We'll
if it
see what
makes you
happens.
if it makes you feel better, I have no notes, but Thomas has notes. So,
That checks
Yeah.
out though.
Yeah.
I'd be more worried if you did have notes.
alrighty. Well, so we're just gonna get it started then. We're gonna open with a beer, a
All right.
beer opening. Are you guys ready?
Yeah, I'm ready when you're ready.
Alrighty, 3, 2, 1.
Welcome to the Beers with Bands podcast with your host, Michael Torres.
Alrighty, so this is the Beers with Bands podcast. It's your lovely host Thomas Allen for show
What up?
and Brian Martinez. You know and you love us, and today we have the one, the only Michael Torres. Could you please introduce yourself to the people?
Yeah, my name is Michael. I run a little podcast, keyword very little,
Okay.
called Beers with Bands. Yeah, what's up?
What up?
How's it
Welcome
going?
to the show. We
What's
are
up, dude?
celebrating a little something today that is episode 300 of the
Where you
podcast. So
It's so crazy to think it's 300, and it all started in. I mean, I obviously you guys have your whatever you guys this is your show. I don't want to like take anything, but I mean it's crazy that here we are at episode 300, and this all started in Brian's kitchen in his house in West Liberty, and look at us now.
Question. Do you know what beer we were drinking?
I'm gonna
In
guess
that
a lot
podcast?
of PBRs.
Absolutely, that was correct. We were drinking PBRs, and do you know? I just want to throw it out there that you were giving me crap because I was drinking hams at the time. So
Oh
my
yeah,
had to turn tables.
yeah. The tables turned hard on this one when Levy was a huge Hams band and I was diehard PBR, and then I over the years I've switched to being more of a Hams person
So,
than a
so, so
PBR
what
person.
made you do the switch?
I don't know. Just it's a little bit cheaper to get a 30 rack of Hams than it is to get a thing of PBRs. They go down a little bit more smooth, a little bit lighter. And then there was some shows that I was going to where like they didn't have PBRs, and it was either get Hams or get like Miller High Lifes, which they're okay, but I'm not at that point yet. Like I think I get Miller High Lifes when I turn 40. I'm not at that point yet.
it's coming sooner than you think.
I know. Don't remind us.
In order to celebrate episode 300, we're going to flip the script and we are going to be the band that interviews the host. And so I guess I just want to say thank you for having us because I'm genuinely a fan of what you do. I respect and admire what you do. You work harder than musicians do on recording and editing and investing your hours and finances into it. So congrats, man. Like sincerely, it's quite the remarkable achievement. And like I said, I feel like you work harder than we do. Like, thank you for giving musicians a platform to tell our silly little stories about the road.
No, I appreciate that. Like I said, it's wild to be at episode 300. I'm so happy that you two are the ones that are kind of hijacking the show. Obviously, Brian and I kind of came up with the concept, and you've been a Ride or Die Homie since the beginning, since even before the podcast. So I'm really happy that you guys are doing this. And yeah, a lot of time goes into things, but it's just wild. I can't think of my life right now without this show in the past 7 years.
Yeah, man. So I personally, I again respect and admire you because I put a lot of research hours into the episode, and basically I had to dig back from like the very first band posts we ever made, and then from there kind of like attach the number of shows that we played. So like it really made me do my homework on myself and also like where we grew up together. And so I guess if I may to like lead into it, my first memory with you would be like junior high and being the new kid in town. So when did you move to West Liberty, Iowa? It was
So
that
yeah, so I started sixth grade in West Liberty, um,
okay.
which I the memory that I have of you, I can't remember if it's from sixth grade or more when we got to like more junior high, which is only like a grade off differently. But
Mhm,
like,
mhm.
uh, funny enough, like I grew up originally in West Liberty, moved to Moscow, and then went back to West Liberty in sixth grade. So like I knew a bunch of people from like Catholic school, like Dylan Christensen, Sam, and like all those people I already been familiar with, and then obviously the family that was there. But the one thing that I always remember about you, uh, and again, I can't remember if it was sixth grade. I think it was more junior high. But there was one morning where like I looked out my bedroom window, getting ready for school, and all I see is this kid on a BMX bike like cut through our neighborhood, and I was like, "What the hell?" And then come to find out, you rode your bike from your house all the way to school. And for people that are listening, Thomas's parents do not live anywhere inside city limits. He
Wow.
lives like
I didn't even know that.
he lives like 20 minutes into the country's like farmland and rode his BMX bike all the way to school one day. It was
Yeah.
wild.
Yeah. Dude, I can't believe you remember that. Yeah, I think that was like the first day of eighth grade. And basically, growing up in Iowa, just having a bike was like the only means of transportation. But I was really on like a fitness kick getting into junior high, like just trying to lose weight. And so that was really the inspiration behind it. But dude, I remember going to your house and trying to do like 50-50 grinds on a crowbar, and that was with the homie Manny Cabrera
Oh yeah, yeah,
way in like junior high summer. So with that, I think we played like junior high baseball together and maybe some random variety of sports. But that's my first memories of you was like maybe like early adolescence, like 13 or 14. Michael's a new kid in town, and like just that small town reality is like how I grew up getting to know you.
yeah. I mean, yeah. And the nice thing I think about us where we grew up is, I talk to people now living in a big city, and they're all like, "Oh yeah, my graduating class was like 400 people." And I was like, "How? Like that's our whole high school was 400 people." And like our
Yeah.
graduating class was 85, so it was kind of nice growing up. It was like to be a new kid is always scary, but obviously getting intermixed with all the kids that do sports are always the same kids in different rotations. So it was kind of nice just to be able to like meet everyone and then obviously build those friendships and have them last, you know, almost 20 years later now.
Yeah, man. So I remember that you burned a CD for me back in the day, very early on, and that was the Gorillas Demon Days. But that was another one of those things that like we used to burn CDs for each other. Like there was no playlist or streaming yet. Like the back in those days, it was like if you wanted to show a homie something, you like made a CD or like made a mix and gave it to them. So like that was another memory I had from
Yeah.
you, like from back in those days.
Dude, I remember,
So
yeah, handing those out. I remember like giving Brian a bunch of like flash drives of just filled with stuff too.
I remember that. Oh my God. I did not remember that until you said that. I'm like, now I remember you doing that.
Yeah, if I could get
Like,
those flash drives back, that'd be
well,
great.
well, there's no way.
Dude,
We'll see,
I
like,
tried it out.
You
I
found one?
have one here and it doesn't work anymore, but it still says M Torres on it when you try to load it.
so, dude, I gotta ask Michael. So, like, obviously, like your podcast, in your podcast, I want to just start off the bat and say, like, this is your podcast. It is not our podcast. You need to stop saying that, setting the record straight. Now, that being said, like what like got you into like for lack of better terms, alternative music, music that isn't like top 40, right? Like what was your introduction to like music, like this type of music?
Yeah, so I always find this kind of funny, my route to kind of what I listen to today. So going back to the whole, burnt CDs and that era, I remember getting CDs from like the older kids on the bus when I still went to my old school. And like some of the stuff that was on those CDs was like Limp Bizkit, there was fucking ICP, just like random fucking shit. I got a lot of like Eminem. So then I listened to like a lot of like Eminem, and then I got into Hollywood and Dead, which everyone had an Hollywood and Dead phase. Fuck what you say.
It's true. Yeah.
And then my high school girlfriend listened to a lot of like, pop punk and like All Time Low, Hello Goodbye, fucking I can't think of all the bands, but like We the Kings, all that stuff. So that pivoted me in like ninth grade into that, and then going from there, obviously being part of your guys' band and touring and meeting all these other like pop punk and emo bands kind of dove it further into that direction, and then really getting into like those formative years of Free Throw and their early EPs is really what led it down. I think the rabbit hole now, I don't know if rabbit hole is the right word, but like where I live now in this whole realm of just like emo, and then obviously growing up with a Hispanic father, listening to a lot of Hispanic music. So like my two things are like emo music and then Hispanic music, and then like you pepper in some hardcore in there and some rap.
I'm gonna say one more thing to kind of piggyback off of what Thomas said earlier, way earlier. But like, dude, like honestly, Michael, I don't remember the first time like we interacted, but what I remember the most from when we were younger is how you were in band, and like you were, if I remember correctly, were you pit captain, or were you drum line captain or something?
Yeah, like kind of senior year, but I think I kind of shared that. Well, Thomas was on the band director's bad side, so Thomas was probably co-captain. I think I was co-captain with someone else in our grade, but yeah,
Well, like what you got you into like band, like school band? Like what was that?
the Harveys. I
No kidding.
I my freshman year, I somehow ended up in the band gym class. So the Harveys somehow convinced me to do band. Which shout
My
out Ethan,
cousin.
because I don't know how
Yeah.
he did it. And then next thing I knew, I was in band sophomore year, and then was marching bass drum 3, and then trombone for jazz band and concert band.
So
I remember after marching band, after we would march on the field, we would go to McDonald's and you would drive us, and we would do the Michael, which is just driving. I don't know why, but we used to be like, we're doing the Michael because you would drive us to McDonald's after marching band.
Yeah, I remember one time we tried to eat the same, like the difference that we lost by in like McDonald's burgers. And I remember just the time that we decided to do that was one night where we were like, our school did fucking terrible, and it was just a lot. Granted, there was like 5 or 6 of us, so it wasn't like we all had to eat like 30 burgers, but like it was still a lot of food for 6 people to order.
Oh, man.
that was a bone I had to pick with you about doing the show, was that you told people that you weren't a musician or that you didn't play, and I'm like, that's actually not true
Well, like
because of your time in band.
there's sometimes where I'll correct it, but like I feel weird being like, yeah, man, like I'm a musician too, and then it's like I played trombone like 15 years ago. Like I couldn't pick one up now, and people are like fucking just finger picking like crazy in the emo scene. I'm like, yeah, but like I could do this, like, duh. Like I feel weird. Like it's the same, but not
Sure.
the same.
Sure, but there was a time that you knew your rudiments playing drums.
Yeah, to an extent, I would say. Yeah,
To
fair
an
enough.
extent, yeah, good,
Yeah,
well enough to be in a marching band. So
yeah.
yeah, I felt
And we
you.
got ones at state, so like we weren't shitty.
I
That was
remember that.
all three of us, like in a high school marching band, actually did well. Like
That was a big
everyone's
deal.
surprised. Yeah, dude, it was wild.
It felt like a big deal.
All right, so Michael, I got a question from one of the day one homies. So I had mentioned Manny Cabrera, and we hit him up and we are like, "Hey, yo, like, do you got any questions for Michael to do the show?" And so he wanted to ask, what's one band from when we were kids that we'd listened to that has stuck with you until this day?
I think Billy Talent uh, is the one that always comes to mind. Like they all like I for sure the first three records, Billy Talent 1, 2, and 3, were like so pivotal in like those early years of high school for me. And like I haven't listened to them in a while, but they're ones that like I always think about, and I know that if I put them on, I'm immediately going to be taken back to like that time in like eighth and ninth grade. Um, so yeah, like I should get back into Billy Talent, but yeah,
Yeah,
Billy
for
Talent for
sure.
sure.
They just
Sorely
won an
underrated.
award.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was just saying that Billy Talent just won a humanitarian award, actually.
Oh hell yeah! Shout out
Yeah.
Billy.
Severely underrated band, and I feel like one guitar player does the work for two when they play live.
Mm.
So shout out Billy Talent, dude. I think of the Grind soundtrack. That's like how I first heard of them.
Dude, they're making a sequel, aren't they?
Oh,
It yeah, yeah, they
Thomas,
are.
one time when Thomas and I started, or when we recorded our first songs ever, I recorded vocals and they were so bad. And I remember being on a bus and I was like, oh, maybe I'm just singing bad because I'm singing like somebody else. And you're like, what have you been listening to? And I said Billy Talent, and you just disregarded everything I said. I just had to throw that out there, man. We were on a bus, probably to a marching band event.
Most likely.
Checks
So
out.
yeah, I think like fast forwarding just a little bit. So Michael, I think what had us reconnect after high school, like we were cool and we'd see each other like amongst the local scene here and there. But then we took a road trip together to Minneapolis to see the band Takeover,
Yep.
and that was February of 2012. And like, was that your first time in the Twin Cities, or was that like, did that lead you there by any chance? Like, I guess what was that experience like for you at that like coming of age?
Yeah, so it wasn't like the first time. I think growing up we had gone to like Mall of America at some point, like every kid in the Midwest I think does. Um, but it was definitely like the first time that I'd gone and done like a trip like that as, I mean, I don't want to say an adult because like freshmen in college, I don't know if you're fully an adult at that point, but it was the first time that I did any sort of like trip. And like we went because Take Cover was also like my first concert. We it was You Mean Everyone We Know, Take Cover, something Queens, and then I can't remember who the other band was, but it
Oh,
was at
Queens
Gabe's.
Club.
Yeah,
Dude,
Queens
Queens
Club.
Club played so many local shows.
Yeah. That was at Gabe's, and then funny enough, we got to see Hello Goodbye like that same night, and I met Forrest at Gabe's or whatever. But yeah, Take Cover was calling it quits, so it was a pivotal moment because like that was like we were both at that show, and then we were like, dude, let's fucking go up for it, like say fuck it, and
Mhm.
then you drove to
Yeah.
me, we drove up, and one and only time at Station Four, which if you talk to a lot of people here in the Twin Cities, like an iconic, legendary venue that's obviously not no longer there. But yeah, that was something that like just was real pivotal. And just like, oh fucking like I can like drive somewhere and go see a show.
Right, absolutely. Like a local show of all things.
Yeah, which is
So
yeah wild. And then like we drove up and then drove back in the same fucking night because we're just fucking dumb.
yeah, I was thinking about that. I'm like, I don't remember the trip home at all. And because we probably overnighted it.
Yeah,
But yeah, that was like the very foundation of Exit Emergency. So for Brian and I, this was like December 2011. So immediately after I graduate, Brian is going into his senior year. We recorded the Exit Emergency demos, which was just two songs on a CD. And then like you
Yeah,
helped me give them out after that show.
yeah.
Tim Trevor played.
jeez.
And sorry, I don't know if you guys can hear the birds just like chirping outside of my apartment window.
Yep.
But anyways, so like I that's where I initially discovered the name Charlie Siren, which was like one of the first connections we made from Iowa to Minneapolis. And so like that I feel like that's really where I found some inspiration in the local scene. But like you were right there, like literally on the ride of that journey.
I technically drove that journey. So let's
Okay.
be clear. But which is still wild that Charlie Stein was there because like seeing like what they've done for like how good of band homies they were for one, but like also they're got like that band is kind of the reason why I live in Minneapolis now. But like it's wild because like I completely always forget that they were even at that show, and then I didn't meet them again for another like 2 years when the original lineup of Charlie Siren played at Yacht Club, and then
Mhm.
I talked to Tane, and then from there is where like we started like really booking shows back and forth.
Yeah, absolutely. And like that's I feel like that's where the networking really started. So like you booked Charlie Siren at Gabe's in
Yep.
2013. That was like a year later, basically.
Uh, 2 years ish. But yeah, but essentially, yeah, pretty
Yeah.
close. Like that was the first show that, because we had already been booking shows prior to that, and then that was the
Hmm.
first show I was able to like book at Gabe's, which I ran about Gabe's all the time. Obviously, our home iconic venue. But I still have that show flyer is in my kitchen. Like I look at that shit every fucking day.
Dude, I love that. And
How, how did you get into booking shows? Because I know Thomas approached you, but like I don't really fully know how that came about.
Yeah, it well, like you said. So Thomas reached out to me. I remember it was like March, I think, sometime in 2013. It was just like kind of random where Thomas was just like, "Hey man, do you want to try and like book local shows with me and like kind of start this like booking company basically?" And then I was like, "Dude, fuck yeah!" And then from there, shortly after that, was it shortly after that, Thomas, that like then exit like I started tagging it. I tagged along more with Exit right after that at some point.
yeah, it all
Uh,
it all tied together like during
yeah,
that summer. So those two things were like really the foundation of Exit Emergency was like getting out of high school and like being in our first years of college together and then basically just like show swapping locals in the area and like progressively trying to get out like a little bit further and a little bit further. But as we set out to do our first tour in 2013, which was a month long by the way, it was absolutely bonkers to try to do a 30-day tour as like a group of 19-year-old kids like
well, and then also on top of that, like Isaac was like
He was
young.
literally, yeah, he was like 17. I don't think he was 18 yet.
yeah,
Yeah,
he
like
was
you guys
17.
illegally took a kid across state lines.
Well, we
So
asked
we
his parents. We asked his
Okay, fair
parents.
enough. Fair
yeah,
enough.
we had a meeting. We had a meeting with the parents to talk
I
about
remember.
the trip. But yeah, that's like when you say during some episodes you're like, oh, some guys that I ran with in high school and like shortly after high school. I'm like it actually goes back to like junior high. Like it's like truly our teenage years through getting into our 20s and like getting on the road. Like that's
Yeah, because I mean,
really how our
you guys played our homecomings. You guys played our proms, uh, and like obviously I was there because I had dates because I was cool.
hell yeah, Michael.
But like I was always there supporting. I remember obviously we were talking about Exit Emergency, but then there was also the bare minimum and Three's a Crowd and
Gosh,
all the iterations that you two have are technically done that led to
Three's a crowd. I forgot that one.
yeah
I
that
forgot.
was a quick short lived one.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, dude. Like it's crazy to think. Like we were really growing up after high school and spending that time together was genuinely some of the best times.
Oh
And
yeah,
we
like
did
I say it all the time. Like I miss the time in the van with you dudes more than like the shows themselves.
so circling back a little bit, I do want to ask, like, why was it an immediate yes for you when he's like, "Do you want to book shows?" Like, did you have any thought? Can you remember if there's any thoughts in your mind that like any apprehension? Because it sounds like you were just like, "Yes, I want to do this."
Like looking back at that time, like I don't know what it was that I was just kind of just down to do it right away. Like I can't think of that there was like any apprehensions. I mean, obviously, like the biggest one would have been probably like I wasn't super immersed with like a lot of the local scene at that point. Like I really got immersed after kind of linking up with Thomas to go to do all this stuff. But I don't know. It was just something that I was always. I mean, you guys kind of know like growing like those years that we're talking about, like I was always looking for, those cool bands to like find. Like I would scour fucking YouTube and back when all the bands were kind of doing music videos and doing all those, and like that's how I found out about like Neck Deep and like Real Friends and like going through that route. And then so like it was just always something that I enjoyed doing. So like getting the opportunity to kind of really put 10 toes down in it, I was kind of like, yeah, let's fucking go. And then obviously it led into being the hang around for Exit, which I did my time, and then I prospected for a little bit, and then I became like a quote unquote like the fifth member, or sixth, depending on what iteration we're talking about.
Dang, that's a good callback, man. So it's basically around the time. I'm sorry if I'm repeating myself, but going out on our first tour and like seeing the opportunity that we could still be doing local shows, even if Exit Emergency isn't home. Like there's still going to be bands asking us for shows, and like to your credit, you accepted those shows and made them happen. And it's like a responsibility to be the person in charge of those local gigs, like finding the PA and like being responsible for the payout at the end of the night, and like all of those duties that come with it. So it's like you brought a professionalism to the music scene at the time that like eventually like it's kind of like good cop bad cop being on the road, like that like you guys got to be in the van at a certain time to get to the show on time, and you being a show promoter understood the discipline that had to come with it too. But it kind of comes off like being a parent of the band, and thus we came up with the name Dad.
Do you remember who the first person to call you dad was? Because we still call you dad. Jake Huber still calls you dad. He's like, "How's dad doing?"
Well, I think I think as to who first called me dad, I don't think it was Jake, because Jake came in around that second tour, so it would have probably been like maybe one of you two. But I think even for the longest time, I was still dad in Thomas's phone for a while.
Yeah, that's true. I had Dad Torres, and then I had Dad Real, like in like parentheses.
Yeah.
I thought it was Corey Simmental. That would have been like Why They Fight, or
Oh
Oh
yeah, that
Whale,
could have been. I
or
didn't even think about someone not in the core Exit.
yeah,
That would have been the first
yeah,
one.
I'll Get By. Uh,
Yeah.
I
At the
played,
time, it might have been why they fight. It might have been that long ago.
yeah, during the
Yeah.
eras of that band. So yeah, I'm not
Uh,
sure where it came from, but it definitely like stuck amongst our band family.
Oh yeah.
Speaking of Colorado Springs, Michael, um, I feel like you and I, like our friendship, really was birthed out of I sling merch better than you sing. Could you please explain that to me? Because that's a tour story that you and I both get to have, and I really do feel like that is when you and I actually became friends, like close friends.
Oh yeah. Like the dynamic definitely changed after that night. But as to what like led to that specific sentence was definitely uh drunk shenanigans or drunk happenings, because like that was our first night in Colorado too, where we showed up to that house. They were grilling out there. I think there was definitely alcohol, and we were just having a good time. And somehow we ended up getting into a really big argument to the point where I slept in the van instead of sleeping inside. Um, and I at some point had said, "I sling merch better than you sing," which is a fucking wild sentence to say. Even thinking about it is like, how do those two things even correlate? Um, and but yeah, like we were at the point where like, because we were never like we all hung out, but like we were never like super close. But then after that, it was just like, okay, we've gone through hell together, and like now like we talk. I know you said earlier, probably like once a week on the phone.
Yeah.
So it's crazy. Like we made up, we made it past it. We had a lot of beers. A lot of time has happened. Uh,
I'm still mad at you, just so you know. I'm
well,
still
I
there,
still
man.
sling merch better than you sing, so suck it.
I appreciated that like Tyler Stodhill gave you your flowers, that you were probably one of the most important people to keep that like ship sailing forward during the touring eras. Like I said, it comes off like being like a parent of the group. Like somebody has to be responsible to get us to the next destination on time. But
Yeah, like I think a little bit of that I gotta chalk it up to my parents because like they were like always not like super strict, but like if we were going somewhere, we were getting there on time and doing all that stuff, and then it just being around 4 to 5 other people that I have that are like trying to like cause chaos to a certain extent. I'm just like, okay, one of us has to stay in line and get us to where we need to go. Granted, I had my nights where I got to get drunk and you got to get drunk, but
right,
all those times outside of that, like we were, oh, we got to be there at 4 for loading. We're gonna get there at fucking 3:30 if possible.
right, yeah. Absolutely. So speaking of Tyler Staccio giving you your flowers, he had a question for you, and he would like an updated review of Four Loco. And what is your favorite flavor?
Uh, so I think that night I had fruit punch and some other flavor that I don't remember because it was the second Four Loco, and those ones went down. Now, the second one Four Loco went down way smoother than the first one. Just putting that out there. It would I do it again? I'd probably have just one Loco instead of 8 Loco. Um, I swear to I kind of tweeted this, and I think I mentioned it some other time, but Tyler and I recorded at 11 in the morning. We were
Mhm.
supposed to be done by 1. We ended up going until like almost 2. When we got done, I made it upstairs to my bed, passed out. I woke up at 6 o'clock thinking it was a day later. Uh, Finally got out of bed at like 8:30, ordered a pizza before the pizza place closed. And I was hungover like most of Sunday, it felt like still. Um,
You're
yeah.
missing one detail.
What did I.
I called you after that podcast. Don't
Oh,
remember that I called you after that podcast. Somewhere in between there, I called you and you talked to me for a solid like 20 minutes and you don't remember any of
nope.
it.
Until you just said that, I didn't remember you called at all. So, but I remember like one other thing for that, like I went 8 Loco and then I started a tall boy after that. So maybe the tall boy was the catalyst that sent it over the edge. Maybe it was the 7 and 8 Loco, but 1 Loco maybe again. I don't remember the second flavor, so I don't know if that one was any better.
Oh,
But to answer your question, I would only do 4 Locos again if it's with Tyler Stodjo because it's only
Respect.
it's only fitting.
Respectfully understood.
so of those tours with us, like, dude, you are so ingrained in Exit Emergency. You are a part of Exit Emergency. You used to come up on stage and scream to actually Tyler Stotchell's part in a song with us on stage. Dude, like, what are your like memories of those times? Do you have any like fond memories? Some highs and lows. I think Thomas mentioned that to me.
I
But
think Lowe's would our argument in Colorado Springs that tour. I think that's like guaranteed. But I think some of the things that I fully remember is just the stupid shit that we did. Not like we were getting into trouble, but just like we did kind of dumb things for us. Like anytime someone would pass out in the van on a drive, we would all go take selfies with that person. So there was a while where like our camera rolls were just filled with selfies with asleep people in our vehicle. What are the odds was played a lot during that last tour.
speaking of that, Michael, what are the odds you finish your drink?
Uh, 1 out of 10.
All right, Thomas, do you want to count down?
Yeah. One, two, three.
Three.
3. Oh,
I said we've all said it.
Three.
You gotta finish
Yep.
that.
Get it,
So,
Michael.
so if I remember correctly, the point of this is uh, we were on tour. It was the last one we went to Canada, right? With
mhm.
Stars Hollow. And I think it was Tyler that introduced us to What Are the Odds? And we were in a Taco Bell in which he explained what are the odds. And I lost and I had to eat a Taco Bell receipt in Taco Bell. And when we were leaving, the guy behind the counter ran out and asked us about the game.
Yeah, because I remember we were standing there and there was someone next to us that was like in awe slash disgust that you're eating a Taco Bell receipt, uh, and it was great.
So Thomas, do you have any fond memories? We could talk about the first tour, the one that I always forget Michael was not a part of.
Yeah, that was like the you get the most learning experience with your first tour, and like everything that could have went wrong on the first tour, and then you just kind of use that to rebound and propel forward.
Yeah.
But like meanwhile, Michael's booking shows in Iowa DIY, just
Yeah,
by the
these
way.
yeah,
So
you guys were all out on the road. I remember like accident prone from maybe Virginia. I booked while you guys were gone because like of the show swapping and stuff. But like that first tour taught you guys something, and it was the reason why on our 3 day run we went with two vehicles instead of one because of one very terrible set of train tracks.
yeah, so as the story goes, like we had a soccer mom van that was towing our trailer, which was like full of music gear. And we set out on our 30-day run. And we got through like the first weekend in Iowa, which was like West Liberty, Cedar Falls, Des Moines. Like it wasn't that far of a trek. And basically by the time we got to Indiana, like heading eastbound, we had this set of train tracks that like ripped out the hitch
Hitch.
in between the van or in between the trailer and the van itself. So basically, we had to just like ditch the trailer with my cousin in Indiana, and then like drive back to Iowa, which was like 6 hours approximately, maybe 5 to 6 hours with stops, and come back like make a 12-hour round trip to continue the tour to Louisville, Kentucky, so we could play Riot Skate Park. But
Which think
basically,
about it, like how lucky you guys were. It was only Indiana. Your cousin was there to able to like grab the trailer and kind of house the rest of the dudes while you and Eric made the trip back. Like it would have been different if it was like New York and that shit would have happened.
right? Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
There
Well,
was
and Thomas is failing to mention he was more than happy to drive back just so he could see his. Were you guys married at that time?
no,
His
like
girlfriend Molly, who is now his
yeah,
wife. He was so
yeah.
excited to drive back. He was so eager.
So I had gone on like one date with my wife before we set out on our 30-day tour. And so,
Really?
yeah, yeah, it was very early on in our
Oh,
relationship. It is now, that's like, we just celebrated 10 years married. So we've been together like 13 years if you go back all the way. So, yeah, we made the round trip just, and I had a chance basically just to like see her real quick and then head back out on the road. But yeah, the first tour, man, like I said, this is where everything went wrong for us. And I think there was a lot of lessons involved too. And like musicians who have been on your show have like lovingly put you're borderline homeless the whole time you're on the road. And so for us, like sleeping in the van was a new experience. Basically, like not hating each other by the end of it was like the moral of the story. And like we're all cool at the end of it, but like you learn a lot about your bandmates, each other, like what you're willing to put up with amongst each other. Like fist fights happen amongst brothers kind of situations, you know what I mean? So it's probably best that you weren't there. Like real talk, it sucked. It's just straight up like we played
I was there
maybe
was
half
only
the shows, so
there's
maybe like
only like
15 to 20 shows actually happened out of 30 days.
Yeah.
really. That sounds about right. We did go to a Kansas City Royals game. I think there was
Yeah, we
that
did on like a day off. Yeah, we managed to go to a Royals game. Like tickets were so cheap back then. Um,
yeah.
quick running it, we did 19 shows over 30 days
Mm.
with like a relative number of fall through. So it's like you're Monday through Thursday, you're in the middle of nowhere, and like, what are you gonna do? You live in a van with five other dudes. There's like nowhere for you to go.
The only like story of note was after we played Buddha's place. Is it Buddha's place? It's when
Oh
we
yeah,
yeah, we played
yeah.
Buddha's place, and all I remember from then was I think it was like a bar that was split, and half of it was a strip club, I think, and the other half was a bar. but the
The
ATM was in the
station.
strip club section. I remember that distinctively. And
Hmm.
I don't know why, because none of us spent time there. I think you had to be 21, and I think we were all like 17 and 18,
Yeah,
18,
that's true.
19. But then we ended up staying at a dude's house. And all I remember from that is you guys were playing Smash Bros. On N64, I think. And then somebody let out his cat. And I remember hearing this whole thing where he was just like, "You let out my cat, man. My cat's let out, man." And his name was Scully. I remember specifically the cat's name was Scully. And then the good part was Scully eventually came back. He got his cat back. But I remember
Yeah.
like sleeping on the floor on that house at that house. Oh man, that was a trip. And then we got you, Michael. You were honestly having you on that second tour was like a game changer because you were ready to go. Like you were like, I booked shows, I'm ready to get this done. And not only that, we had a second driver for Thomas, so Thomas didn't have to drive. And we had that singular van, or did we have two vehicles at that time?
For the 3 day run, we did the van and truck, and then when we did the actual first 30 day run that I was part of, that one we had the van.
Hmm.
So we upgraded from like our soccer mom van. Like the last run we did with the soccer van was to Elyria, Ohio in 2013. And like you tell that story uh as like probably one of the sketchiest places we've ever played. And I think we just drove home. We were like, I don't want to stay here. So
Yeah, because like I think I said this on actually like a recent episode, but they offered for us to stay in this building that people were doing like basically shooting heroin upstairs during this pop punk show. They're like, you guys can stay in the green room, which was like a shitty futon, and I think someone said that there was ants everywhere, and we were just like, nah, we're gonna go. But then we found that one rest stop that like had showers and like for free,
mhm.
and like that was golden. And then we drove back to Iowa, I think the next morning because we just
Yeah,
stayed
so we
there.
could play, yeah, to play Iowa City. But yeah, sometimes the places you get offered to stay, it would be better to stay in your van and find a truck stop with a shower. Like just straight
Yeah,
up. It's like it's just really what you can find out there. But yeah, so the end of, we went on this like month-long tour in 2013, basically straight into like our first years of college or like just finishing high school for Brian. And then 2014 is when we actually went to Missouri. Like we had made good friends in Columbia and St. Louis area. And so we went with Survival Soundtrack just to do like a one-off show in like I'm gonna say Podunk, Missouri. But
yeah.
yeah, so uh can you tell us about that trip?
Oh god. So that was the infamous
Infamous.
Missouri State Lines 1 o'clock trip, where me and the one of the former guitar players of Exit, uh, somehow I got out of being like having to drive this whole trip, and I don't know how I pulled that off for the trip.
I got you. That
Well, yeah, but like I didn't have to drive back because well, there was no way I could have drove back. Foreshadowing. Uh, but me and the former guitar player, we were sitting in the back of the van, and like 1 o'clock hits and we start cracking beers. We're start drinking at 1. We get to the it was played in a garage, so like a house. Actually, it was a trailer. We got there in the afternoon. We didn't play till 9. I've been drinking all day. Everyone, we went to go eat Waffle House. I think I was too drunk already to eat Waffle House. Or that could have been the second time we went to Missouri. Missouri has beat me every time, and I still have a grudge. And this might have been the show that I was like bumming cigarettes that people were putting in the tip jar. So I was smoking. The fridge behind me was full of beer. Uh, the drive home, I felt so bad. Like I looked so bad to Survival Soundtrack because like we had to pull over. I think one of the dudes from Survival drove because I think you were also just kind of out of it a little bit. Like, but we had to keep like pulling over, and it was a really bad impression. And for the longest time, I thought everyone in that band hated me. Uh, so if any of them are listening, I feel really bad about that night. I still think about it. It haunts my dreams.
Oh, I'm sorry, man. Okay, I'm
As you
sorry, but I'm gonna push you a little bit further on this one. And I vaguely remember TJ Wilt telling me like you fell out of the back.
Okay, so the second time we went to Missouri was on a 3-day weekend run with our friend TJ Wilt's band at the time. I think it was Square States.
This is the second time. Okay, okay.
Yeah, so we played the same place. This time I'm kind of in work mode. I think I drove us there maybe, but we got there. We knew we were going to stay somewhere around there that night. And the dudes in Missouri like to drink, and at the time, we were Exit was the drinking band, so we got right into stepping with them. Uh, I got so drunk that we went to go to Waffle House. This might have been the Waffle House that I didn't eat instead of the other story, but we tried to leave to go to Waffle House, and I hopped in the back of the van because the back of the van had like double doors, and we were trying to leave, and I couldn't figure out why the door. This sounds so stupid. I couldn't figure out why the door wouldn't shut, and TJ Wilt brings this up to me every time. This specific story. The reason the door wouldn't shut was because my legs were still hanging out the back of the van. So I was like laying in the van and just like trying to shut the door on my legs. Um, and then I never made it inside Waffle House. And then we went back to their house, and yeah, yeah, that was a fun time.
Fun times, man. So yeah, that's we did like a I don't want to say a test run, but like we did like that just one-off show in Missouri with Survival Soundtrack before we're like, let's hit the road for like 2 weeks together. So
Also, I just remembered the when we went to Missouri with Survival, I somehow was like taking pictures and hyping up all the bands, and I remember you specifically were like, "Wow, you don't even hype up the band that you're here to like work for or take any pictures." Like it was like a playful like jab. There was like a solid year later where I was scrolling through my phone. I did find a picture of Exit from that night that I some apparently sometime took. Never posted it or anything, but I posted like a bunch of pictures of Survival that night.
oh my god. Dude,
so what you're saying is you'd rather do merch for Survival Soundtrack.
I tried. They didn't hire me.
they were Iowa's best pop punk band.
They were. I just bought
Absolutely.
it on tape.
We were one of Iowa's drunkest bands. One of.
One
One
of.
of.
There's only one other band that could have beat us.
Mm.
I feel
What band?
like
Gotta ask, what band?
The Easy Mark.
Oh, yeah, maybe. I don't know. I don't know. You know what? If anyone from the Easy Mark is listening, challenge you to a drinking contest with Thomas, me, Michael.
I did not willingly commit to this.
Oh, you did. You did now. You're my friend. That's what happens. I dragged you into it.
Michael, I wanted to ask you. I'm sorry, I'm just gonna reel this one back. We played at the Charlie Siren House in 2014 before we met up with Survival Soundtrack, but you had booked them early on, like into your show booking career, and then we actually got to go play that house, the Charlie Siren House, like notorious for Minneapolis area bands, especially. And so I wanted to ask you, like, was there any magic with that being able to, like, I guess just meet up with your friends at the time that you had already booked, and then like play the house or be at the house with them?
Uh, kind of. I feel like at that early stage, like I had only really kind of been in contact with Tane, and then I didn't really know the other guys that much because the first time that Charlie Siren came to Iowa City, they were still a three piece with Shelby and oh man, I forget the original drummer's name. But then when they came back the second time is when they added Dustin and Aaron, and I, met them all that night, but we weren't really close. So when we played the Charlie Siren House that first time, like we vaguely remembered each other. We didn't really talk much. I think we talked more with Tane. I remember Brian bought a pizza that got ruined. Times were tough.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Still mad. Still
But
mad.
but I think with us going there, I think it helps solidify what became that relationship because then that's when we started really swapping more of being like, okay, like we know that we're in good hands if we come to Minneapolis, and they knew that they were in good hands when they came to Iowa City. So I think that night helped and propelled it, but I don't even want to say like it was like the first building block yet of that relationship,
Mhm.
weirdly enough. But it definitely was like the gravel that went into the cement.
And didn't you end up living in that house
I
or
did.
no? Yeah.
Yeah.
So you,
Yeah.
like
When I,
not only that, yeah. So you
yeah.
were talking about how like they were kind of like part of the catalyst for you moving out to where you are now. I'm gonna say the wrong place. That's why I didn't say it. Do you want to like? I don't know if I'm skipping too much, Thomas, and cut me off if
No,
I'm
no, you're
skipping
good,
too
dude.
much.
It's just off the
But,
cuff, by all
but
means.
like, how did you end up there? Like, what do you mean by that? Like, why there?
So, so obviously, us and Charlie Siren kept show swapping, and then I don't know what it was that like I just really gravitated to a lot of the dudes in that band, like in like not like a weird way, but like a good like we built a bond and relationship. So like there was a few different times that I had driven up here to Minneapolis just for like a weekend because I remember specifically I came up for the final Charlie Siren show I went to at Triple Rock, so I got to say at least went to Triple Rock while it was still around. And then there was like one other time where I like came up and visited, and you know, we just had a really good relationship, and I got to know like Aaron Reed a lot more. Shout out Aaron. And it was every time I would kind of visit, they're like, "Oh, dude, like they wanted me to." This I don't want to make this sound conceited, but they wanted me to be part of the like kind of the group and the friendship and everything. So they would always be like, "Dude, we have a spare room in the house. You should just move here." And then 2019 going into 2020, I was financially stable enough to be able to move 5 hours. So I was able to move into the Charlie Siren house. So my first 3 years in Minneapolis, I spent at that house. Granted, we weren't doing shows anymore at that point. They had stopped that a long before. But to to be in such a what I think is an iconic house for Minneapolis. Granted, not growing up here, I know there's a lot of other house venues, but like that house had so many sick shows happen in the basement. Like Unturned played some of their first shows there.
Mhm.
The Swellers have played there, which is wild. Just a lot of iconic things have happened there, and getting to live in it was very sick to be part of that history.
Speaking of that friend group, unless Thomas has something to say, because I'm out Team Money,
No, go
Team
ahead.
Money.
No, go ahead.
Speaking of that friend group, Dustin wanted me to ask, could you explain Captain Mike to me?
So Captain Mike, we did like the Twin Cities friend group, families, whatever conglomerate. We did a Jamaica trip, and one time when we were at a show before we went for the trip is someone at this punk show was wearing like a sailor's hat, and we it said I think it said Captain Mike on it, and we thought it was really funny. And then a friend of mine had gone up to him, and we found out his name was Mike, so kind of he wasn't just misrepresenting Captain Mike. So we go to leave for this trip, and I think it was either when we were in the airport or when we got to Jamaica. They handed me this specific hat, and they were like, "Hey, we got this for you." So I basically wore a sailor's hat, like a little cap. I don't know where it's at right now. Otherwise, I would grab it and wear it for a little bit. But I wore it around this resort in Jamaica for most of the days that we were there, to the point where the staff, when I would pass them, would salute me, which is so dumb and super funny. But like I wore it at the pool, just had a great time, just drinking. Everyone called me captain. It was sick. Yeah, I need to bust out that hat again because it's
Uh,
iconic.
Tell us about your first fingerboard sponsor.
Yeah.
My first sponsor or the first sponsorship that I gave out?
First sponsorship you gave out.
It was to the person that Brian was just talking to, Dustin Reed, the homie out of Minneapolis. I think he's Dusty Flips or something like that. Dusty FB, I think on Instagram, but just a really good friend that started like getting into the fingerboard hobby, and as I do with pretty much all the homies that are close to me, as I get stickers printed, I just leave them at their house and of like, here you go, here's a stack for you. And he
Mhm.
took the actually this sticker right here, the 40 logo,
Oh
and
yeah.
then stuck it right on the bottom of his board, and it looked super sick. And then he kind of did this like little edit video with a Crucial Dude song in the background. I think it's still the pinned video on my Twitter, on the
Mhm.
Beers with Band's Twitter, just doing like this sick little grind. And Ever since then, I've been his sponsor. But then he's upgraded boards since then. That's the only board that has my logo on it, though.
Oh, I just wanted to mention anytime I like grip up a new skateboard, I put a Beers of Bands sticker on it. So I don't want to
I
say that I'm
appreciate that.
sponsored, but it that may be the second skateboard that always gets a Beers of Bands sticker.
That is true. I should probably send out some more. That way you can hit them all up.
Oh, dude, please do. I just keep a collection of random stickers, and like I'm always just slapping them places. So I got you, bro.
Hell
I
yeah.
have so many of those stickers, and I randomly find them, and then I start putting them on things. I just start going. Um. So, we did that tour with you, and then Thomas. Did we do anything in between that and the Canada tour, or much between those two?
Yeah, we went to California.
Oh, it was. Do we literally do 3 tours of like 30
Yeah,
days? I've always
yeah,
told
yeah.
you two. Oh,
Yeah,
So
because the first one that I did was 2 weeks west and then 2 weeks east with survival, and then yeah, we did the excuse to get In-N-Out Burger tour.
yeah, in 2015. So I wanted to ask you just while we were on that like topic of the survival soundtrack tour, did you have any like highlights or any memories from it that like stand out to you from those days? Like I feel like that
Uh,
was probably our longest tour we ever did, and you did the full thing.
yeah, because yeah, I went in cold with that one too. Like I didn't. I mean, I kind of warmed up with that 3 day run, so I kind of knew what I was getting into. But then yeah, we went right into like a 30-day run. Things that I remember off that one that always stand out. Um, Obviously meeting all the homies in Colorado Springs, meeting Puckett in Louisville, because one we got to go to an iconic venue that was
we did not get
Tumblr
to play it.
famous. We didn't get
We
to
didn't get
play
to
it, but we got to be there. And then we hung out with Puckett, and then obviously what happened from there with Little Heart Records. And
That
then
was like iconic place that was on Tumblr. I feel like you had talked about that during an episode that it was like a famous pizza joint. And like, not to graze over it, but basically like we booked a show in Louisville at this pizza place. And then like all the bands dropped. And so we were two bands on tour and we just like rolled up to the pizza joint. And then we are just like, all right, I guess we're good. And so we just like hung out for the rest of the night.
we showed up after finding a spot to park the van and trailer. Walked in, and they were like, "Oh yeah, by the way, locals dropped. There's not going to be a show." And we were like, "The fuck." Uh, the promoter still bought us pizza and was like, "If you guys want to hang out, you're more than welcome to." And then we went back to his house and like geeked out over like comic books and shit like that, and
Mm-hmm.
just
Mm-hmm.
petted like hung out with his cats all night. So it
And
was
So,
great.
this was the beloved Brian Puckett of Little Heart Records. I actually have a tattoo on my arm that is of him, or like in a memorial to him. But yeah, that was the first time that we met him in person for sure.
it was that night that I talked to Puckett about like releasing music, and he was like, he was talking about Weezer, and he was like, Weezer releases better, like they should have done EPs instead of full length records. He was like, can you name an entire Weezer record that's good? And I could not. That being said, this is a segue to a question asked from a friend of ours. So Zach Suter wanted me to ask, what is your favorite Weezer album?
I honestly don't know if I have a favorite Weezer album. I don't. That's not this like. That's more just saying like I don't listen to a lot of Weezer. I know of the Blue album and then the one that had Buddy Holly. Um, yeah,
He
that Hurley
also,
wasn't Hurley one of the albums.
I
I
have
don't
no
know. That
idea.
could be a different band.
Again, it just proves that Puckett was right. They should have released EPs.
But yeah,
Uh,
that pizza joint, it was like it ended up on Tumblr like don't mosh near the
Yeah,
pizza
yeah.
yeah.
burner or something.
They had an oven like right off to the side, like on the wall, or like where like the side of like the people would stand, and yeah, they had a sign on it that said, "Please do not mosh into the pizza oven. It's hot," or some shit like that, and it just
Yeah,
blew
this
up on Tumblr.
Spinelli's pizza.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah. But sorry, we took a sidestep there. But yeah, memories from that Survival Soundtrack tour.
yeah. So that one for sure. Sleeping on a cement floor at a studio in Georgia, wherever you guys went to go record one of the
Yeah,
EPs.
that was the Microwave House. Like the dudes in the
Yeah,
band Microwave, that was their house that had like a recording studio set up in their basement. And that's where we recorded like our first good album, I'm gonna say. we had put out 2 EPs on CDs that were just like DIY recorded, that we did straight out of high school. But then going into like 2014, 2015, that's how we knew them. So that's how we ended up staying at their house, just
Yeah.
randomly in the middle of Georgia.
Yeah, so sleeping on the cement floor in their kitchen because someone that shall probably not be named stole the bed I was supposed to sleep on. And
Broke
then
the rules of the road, man. And
yeah,
I think Tyler Stacho brought this one up towards the end of the episode, man. If you drove, you get first dibs on where to sleep.
100%. Like that was some bullshit. Um, I think
So,
someone in survival did offer to like maybe share a couch or do something with the couch, and I like respect, but I
yeah, I think they
toughed it
had
out.
bunk beds in their basement. So there was like 4 beds, but there was probably like 9 or 10 of us.
Yeah.
So it's like naturally somebody ends up on the floor, or like there was another rule of the road that was like somebody has to stay with the van at all
Mm,
times. So
Yeah.
it's like you basically pull straws every night of like, or who got the best spot to sleep in between drives. And so it's driver gets first dibs. But I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought.
no, yeah, you're good. Driving is first dibs. One other thing that I always remember from that tour, and I think I talked about it when I sat down with Tyler, was getting convinced from the other band to go camping instead of finding somewhere else to sleep and sleeping in the fucking woods in the summer in
It
Georgia.
Dude,
was it was so
Oh
hot.
god. It
It was
was
so hot.
terrible. Thankfully they went to go swim in a fucking lake that had and they got leeches and it made up for it. It evened us out because I was like, I don't want to sleep in a fucking campground anyways.
It was
uh,
so
from from that tour, I remember Joel Buckaloo wearing a number one dad shirt for every single show of the tour. And sorry, homie, I don't think he washed it, not a
I
single
don't think he did
time.
either.
But that was like his show shirt every night of the tour.
Oh, the other thing that I always remember from that tour too. Sorry, Brian, for this one. So we
I'm
played
sorry.
on our before we left for the second leg. We played in Oskaloosa or Ottumwa, and after we got done playing,
Oh,
someone
Keaton
ran to go get
Stoneburner's.
McDonald's.
Yeah.
So everyone that didn't go basically handed over a debit card of like, hey, this is what I want. Here's my order. Here's my card. And then they came back, dispersed food, handed back all cards, and then we left the next day. And Brian was like, "Hey man, I can't find my debit card." And we were like, we left late because we took and basically tore apart Wyatt's parents' house. Wyatt's parents also tore apart their own house after we left to try and find it as well. We had to stop back home, or we either stopped back home or Brian had his parents mail
No,
him
no, my
his
uncle, my
checkbook.
uncle, my uncle made me take a checkbook with me.
Okay, so you already
Made me.
had it, thankfully. But so this dude, we're on a last 15 days of our tour on the East Coast, away from home, and this man's writing checks at like 20 years old to pay for shit. And nowadays most people don't take non-local checks, which is
Yeah.
like wild to think. Um, but so at this entire time, we think his debit card's been lost. Why
Do
his
you
family
remember?
can't find it.
So, are you gonna finish it or you want me to finish
Oh
it?
no, I'm about to finish it right now.
Okay.
So So we're at a mall in this random town, just killing time,
What
and
food did I get though? What kind
you
of
got
food?
Chinese food, and you were like, "Hey, this here's my fortune." You might have read it, and then you're like, "I'm gonna put it with my other fortunes." This man takes his phone, opens his phone case where the rest of these fortunes are, and lo and behold, there is his debit card. He's had it with him the entire last half of the tour, uh, like an idiot, and didn't didn't think to check behind his phone.
Well, to be fair, I am 32 years old now, and I still lose my wallet every day.
That is fair. We did have when I
Not
was home
learn
the
it.
last time. We had to drive somewhere to go get his wallet.
Yeah.
Uh, I wanted to bring up one more memory from that tour, which was like the Fat Boy game of wiffle ball that Exit Emergency won over
We
Survival
dominated.
Soundtrack.
Wait, we
Dude,
played a game of wiffle ball?
Yeah,
yeah,
like on our
yeah.
last day. On our last day, we found a random park and we played a wiffle ball. Exit Emergency versus Survival Soundtrack, and dominated. Which I feel like I brought that up on one episode. But like, if you're out touring with someone else, see if like if you guys have a day off or plenty of time before like load-in, go like play catch, play frisbee, like do something with that other band. Like one, we were already pretty good friends with Survival because we were in the same scene, kind of running around anyways. But like, I feel like they kind of like brought us a little bit closer, just to like
Totally.
after spending
Yeah.
that many days, just to do something like fun and not have to really think about it.
Yeah, and like it wasn't music related. It was just kind of like a getting to hang out and like not worry about music for a amount of time that
Yeah,
I think made it really fun. Another memory from like that parking lot was Ryan Hecker was the merch guy for Survival Soundtrack, like blowing by on a scooter, and Joel Buckaloo just holds out a bat and like hits him in the chest with it, and like he wasn't wearing a shirt, like he got smoked. But
There's pictures of that day. I
yeah,
remember.
yeah, dude. But yeah, I just had to like shamelessly plug that we won a game of wiffle ball, and we were definitely the underdogs in that game.
Are you trying to say that Exit Emergency was not an athletic band?
No, I would say most of us were not athletes.
yeah.
More, I don't know. That gets into another core argument: is like, is skateboarding a sport? And like, let's not go there. That's gonna sidebar us for like a 90 minutes.
Oh man.
But yeah, those
Oh,
2004.
I
Go ahead,
do
man.
gotta say this. I do technically have a tattoo because of Michael, and this has to do with skateboarding. So this is how ADD works. So I used to spend a lot of time with Michael back when he lived above the movie theater. I think this was, I was it during the times we were touring. I can't remember if it was during or after.
It was
Um,
after.
but I remember spending time with you, and you're like, dude, we have to watch King of the Road, and
Oh
you
yeah,
made me sit at your house and watch King of the Road. And we would just sit there and drink beers and watch this thing. So because of you, you showed me the show, and above my knees, I have Hail Skatin', which is from the last season of King of the Road.
it was a great show. I wish they would bring it back, or at least make like because I know that they're probably still doing King of the Road, like obviously like not on camera, but like I want an easy way to just watch all that footage.
Oh
Hmm.
man.
Yeah,
So
I've
yeah,
heard
you.
rumor they want to bring it back. But yeah.
Sorry, I didn't mean to segue us that
No,
hard, but
it's
I.
cool because one of my first memories with Michael is throwing slappy 50-50s on a crowbar at Manny Cabrera's. And like low key, I made friends with both you guys because of skateboarding and music. So like it comes full circle and it just never quite stops doing that.
Yeah, it's wild.
And the best part that like you have these lifelong friends, and you can literally go like we could go anywhere, like relatively anywhere from the East Coast to West Coast, and we could find a couch to sleep on easily because of that time that we got to spend on the road together. And it's just amazing to think about that we actually did that because we were so young.
You know,
Yeah,
No pun
man.
intended.
I think about Michael, I don't know where you were at in 2013, but we ended up getting Major League and Light Years to do a one-off show in Hiawatha.
I
And
was there.
so that's what I was wondering. So when you would interview them, you're like, "Oh, I couldn't remember if I saw them play." And I was
Well,
like,
because that was the weird thing is like they had this specific T-shirt that I think I brought up in that episode where it just said
"Mhm,
Major League and then it said Wolfpack and I think it had the wolf on the back. And then for the longest
yeah,
time, I couldn't remember where the fuck I got it. Like I knew I got it at a show, and when you look at like I had to do a deep dive on this is I'm sorry to take away from your point here, Thomas. Like I had to do a
go for
deep
it."
dive on their Facebook
Mhm.
scrolling back to 2013 where I saw like a random post of theirs where they're like, hey, doing the show in Cedar Rapids tomorrow with Light Years. And I was like, okay, I did get it at their show because it wasn't on any flyers or anything like that.
And it was
Yeah,
a show
dude.
that you guys booked. It wasn't just a show that you went to. Like both of you guys booked that show.
Depending
It
on who
was
you
a
ask, yeah.
Yeah, it's a collaborative effort, right? So like, yeah, we did the initial like reaching out to their booking agent that they gave a shout out to, Jason Parent. And so we got them into the area, but Tim McRae is who had access to the local VFW. And
Yeah.
so later on, we ended up doing a show with Forever Came Calling and mixtapes. But way back in like 2013, like we went from you booked your first show to we've got Major League doing a local show in Cedar Rapids. And I just wanted, I'm sorry, I'm not trying to like call you out, but it's like you had mentioned on the episodes, like, oh, I can remember like when you had saw them play. It just so happened to be that long ago. It was
Yeah.
like 13 years ago that we saw them in Hiawatha, like Cedar Rapids, Iowa.
Yeah, which is wild to think. I mean, and like obviously they went on their hiatus, but it's so sick to see those dudes back. I'm only bummed because none of the tours that they've been on or have been announced have like are coming to Minneapolis yet. But
Yeah,
I know it'll happen at some point.
for sure, dude. And so like kudos to you, man, because like that way back in the day we were able to like play a local show with them and that was a big deal. But then I feel like you got the inside scoop on their reunion, having stuck with the music scene for that long. I thought that was such a cool accomplishment, dude.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, that's still one of my like kind of uh just like in awe moments that like I got to sit down with two dudes that I have respected and loved for so long. Like the records that they put out were just phenomenal and meant a lot to me at that time, and like they still obviously are bangers right now. But like it's just it's crazy that like I got to sit down with them and like another band that I got to sit down with that has been a band of mine that I fucking ride or die for the longest time is Crucial Dudes. They were pivotal in New Jersey. No one out, I feel like outside of New Jersey really knows who the fuck they are half the time, unless you're like super in tune. But like getting to sit down with Alec McVeigh from Crucial Dudes and just do that deep dive was just fucking like surreal because that was so early on in the podcast too. So like, man, it's just cool getting to hit those like talk to your heroes almost moments.
Yeah, man. Like you literally have a major league flag like right next to you. And
Yeah.
so like during the episode, you're like, oh, I got the vinyl. I'm like, of course you do, man. Like I honestly like I'm speaking for myself here, but these days instead of looking on like Spotify recommended, I go back to like what does Michael recommend? And I've got a list of 300 episodes of bands to go and listen to. And so it's been that way since day one, man. Like Michael's burning you a mix CD, or like Michael's got the inside scoop on like your favorite bands. And so having the episode of Major League for us was like genuinely a treat. But I appreciated the list you provided us to like do some homework on like these are the episodes I'm stoked on.
Oh hell yeah.
Well,
So
my favorite thing is talking to him about bands that I find. He's like, "Yeah, I interviewed them." He's like, "Brian, you didn't know I interviewed this band?" And then like also like when it comes to Crucial Dudes, that's a band you showed me that I listen to probably once every 2 to 3 months
Yeah.
because they're from the most important scene of all time, the New Jersey East Coast scene, best scene of all time. I'm saying it now, anyways. It's a Brianism, but no, like so you keep. I brought this up earlier, and Thomas, if you want to talk about the other tours too, we can go back as well. But like you started this podcast now all the time you give me my really like you give me flowers for something that I genuinely don't deserve to get flowers for. You're always like, well, yeah, this is mine and Brian's podcast, we came up with it and I went with it. I guess my question for you in general, dude, is like when did you realize this is your podcast? This has been your podcast for at least 299 episodes, 299 episodes. And you need at some point, Michael, you need to stop saying this was Brian and mine's idea. Yeah, that was true. But let's be honest. Like come up with 1,000 ideas and do one of them. This is your baby. This is your podcast. So when are you going to accept that this is your podcast?
So I think I accepted that it was my podcast on episode 2. Because I mean, for episode 2 was with at the time they were drones. They later became Tightwire, but that was my first out of state show episode 2 because I recorded that in Minneapolis. But the reason I gave you so much flowers, and I probably will continue to give you flowers on this, is because yes, you were part of the first episode, but people don't realize that prior to episode 1, we did at least 5 to maybe like 8 test episodes. Not full episodes, but just like understanding the equipment, trying to get it down. So like you were there for like the thick of it. and like that initial point where like it really we had to get over the hurdle, and like if I would have tried to do any of that by myself without someone else there, I probably would have been like, man, this shit's too hard, and then not do it like I had done with a lot of stuff, playing bass and shit like that, and like so at least getting over that, you helped get over that hump, and you're part of episode one. We talk about you as a host, and then you decided to move, and I was like, well, okay, sorry. He'll be back when he can, I guess.
And then I never came back except for the episodes when you interviewed me.
Yeah.
So like when I did approach you about this idea, what did it like? Did you expect it to be going as long as it has?
No, because like the original idea was, hey, we're tired of listening to our own stories because we were sitting in the van next to each other. Let's go talk to our friends that we haven't talked to in a while, because we both kind of took a step back from the music scene after like Exit kind of died out, and we were like, let's go hit up the homies and go talk to them. So we were like, yeah, let's fucking do this. So do I think at the time that podcast really should have only lasted probably 10 weeks. It should have been Matt Prince, the dudes in Charlie Siren, Nebraska people. Probably if we would have figured out Zoom at the time, hit up the homies from the road at that time, and to think here we are recording episode 300 7 years later. I wouldn't have. I would have called bullshit.
So like, what does this podcast mean to you, man?
It's that's a tough question. I think to me, it's my way to stay in touch with what's going on. Finding cool bands. I've always been down to find cool bands, and just getting to bullshit and just have a good time. The way it was always meant to be. Like, again, go see our friends, basically chat like we would after a show where it's we both just got done playing a set, and it's like, hey, I heard a new song. Like, what is that? What's cooking? And just have those moments, and to get to be a part of the scene that's going on right now, whether it's the emo scene or music in general. It feels nice. I have imposter syndrome a lot with a lot of things I do, and I still do it with still have it with this, where I don't feel like I'm supposed to be around here. But it's nice to sit down with people and them have nice things to say about me after episodes, and just welcome me into the scene that we have.
Dude, like that's the thing though, is like you more than a lot of people, man, have been like in the trenches with Exit, doing those tours and booking shows. Like not even people in bands, not everybody in a band has booked a show. Not everybody in a band has had to do the things that you've done. I mean, Thomas told me, I can't remember the exact amount, but he told me roughly how many bands you've interviewed. And Thomas kind of said it earlier, but like you've literally done more work than bands do. I think to say that people are welcoming you in is kind of a farce, because you just already have been. You've been a part of it for like over 10 years now. And that imposter syndrome, I get that, but like it's just completely false because you've just been in it this entire time, putting in the work, talking with bands, creating these connections. You've been doing it for so long, man. And it's exciting to see that you finally got yourself to 300, especially without the help of me. Um, but you actually did it, man. You've been doing it. It makes me happy to see you do it. Um, it's just cool, man. It really is. I tell you that all the time on the phone when I call you and annoy you at 9 o'clock on a random Tuesday. But like you're doing it, man, and I think it's rad. You took a silly idea and you've kept doing it consistently and with passion. And I wanted to mention or ask you like kind of about this on the very first episode where I'm on that you released. Thankfully, please, for the love of everything, don't release those five others, please. But when you released that first episode, you and I talked about how we didn't want to do ads. Like
Mm.
that was an important thing to talk about. why haven't you? You're 300 episodes in. You have like a listener base and things. Like you've been doing this for so long, and at some point, nobody would have been upset if you started doing ads. But like, why haven't you done ads? Like, what is it? Like, what made you stay true to that initial statement that's over 300 episodes ago?
So one, well, two things. One, thank you for the very kind words. Trying to make me cry on this Friday night. Uh, but I completely forgot that I even said that in those episodes. I've been trying to sell out this entire time. I'm trying to, no, just kidding. I think like I did ads, not like I did do ad read ads. I did like just the ad for like the podcast streaming service that I was using at the time. But like I never collected any of that money. Like it's still sitting in like the account, and I've never withdrawn it or anything like that. Just because after a time, especially using band songs in the audio versions, I always felt shitty getting money for stuff that they're putting out. Like I should not be getting rewarded for things for music that other people are doing for one. So I've never cashed out those funds. Probably should just to donate it at that point. But like that was one reason lately that I have not wanted to do ads. The other reason I think looking back at that first episode that I probably said that is like it's not to me the episodes are always about the music, the people that I'm talking to, and the stories that we're getting at. Whether it's stories about the album and how things happened, drunk stories, tour stories, just the life that's happened. And I don't think it would be genuine to stop what we're doing to ad read whatever is getting ad read on fucking podcasts nowadays. Blue Chew, fucking BetterHelp, and all that fucking stuff that we hear in all the podcasts that are that major people are doing. Yeah, if you want to make money, that's cool, but I'm not. I have a job to make money. I'm not here to make money. I'm here to have a relationship with people over these episodes, have a good time, and do our thing, and just be real about it. I think if I were to start doing ads, it wouldn't be me. And the moment that I probably start doing ads is probably when this podcast should end because I want everyone to call me out on that because that's not the punk uh,
Eat those.
ethos. Yes, thank you that we're living in. Like I'm not going to give in to the man. I pay enough into the man. I'm not going to do ad reads to not feel like myself.
That's so true to the heart of DIY, man. Like it just, man, I respect it so much. Like, thank you for all that you do.
So like you also mentioned to me like personally that you tend to crutch on not crutch is the right word. You tend to prefer to work with bands that are releasing like a full body of work instead of releasing singles. Like why is that? Like why do you tend to prefer like an EP or an album instead of just like a song? I know you'll like interview anyone, but like why is that?
That's a good question. So like I'm still in the old school mentality where I want that full release. So if I hear a single and I know it's going to lead up to something else, then I kind of try and wait because I'm like, hey, we're getting chapter one of this story. I want to listen to the full story, how it's supposed to be listened to, with this in there to fully understand what's going on. Now I get it. In the time that we are now, a lot of bands will produce just singles that might not tie into anything. So like obviously, yeah, we'll still do those episodes. But if I know that there's going to be something coming up, then it's usually like, hey, like let this marinate. Let me see these singles drop, kind of get a feel for them. Not that like me getting a feel is me going to be like, hey, like I don't want to do this anymore. It's more just like, let's give me the trailer. We'll start getting these prequels going. I'll get the full story, and then I feel like I can better understand what the band is trying to put out.
So, Michael, I wanted to ask you about like the bands that you have on the show. I guess honestly, I'm thinking of like two different directions. So, one of them being like as a host, like you've mentioned some of the bands you're most stoked about, but then I'm also eager to hear about like the shows you have booked as Beers with Bands. So I was like genuinely curious about the connection between being a podcast host and using that to support being a show promoter and like being able to do both at the same time. Like for bands, that's again a sincerely valuable thing that you're doing for us, and I not everybody can say that they have that experience of like being a podcast host that is willing to do the research on the bands, and then secondly being a promoter that's willing to represent those bands by putting them on shows. Like we as bands really value the shows that we're able to play, and it's so cool given that you have like 15 years of experience developing with bands, like still putting on shows to this day.
Wait, so what's the question?
First off, what bands are you most stoked on having on your show? You'd mentioned Crucial Dudes, right? And
Yep.
also Major League. But then secondly, like you're booking your festival with Stars Hollow on it. So you've had bands that have been on your show, and you're booking them soon. And so like one thing supports the other in being a podcast host and also being a show promoter.
Yep. Sorry. I'm about halfway through this 40, so
No, it's cool, man.
I haven't eaten supper yet either. So like it's all hitting one.
What are the odds you finished at 40?
Uh, go fuck yourself. So I think the like there's a lot of show episodes that I'm very stoked on. Obviously, like you said, Major League, Crucial Dudes, getting to sit down with Tyler for the first time in shit like 13 years since I've known him, and seeing the career that he's done has been super amazing. Getting to have that conversation, I'm really stoked on. Football Head was a great one. Obviously, a bunch of great dudes. Nate, they've let in to be a bass player, and he's a longtime homie, so it was great to catch up with them. Amway has been amazing and such a good friend group since I've kind of stepped in and met them, and then obviously getting to sit down, with Matt Prince a bunch, Zach Suter and the New Neighbors dudes, Tiny Stupid with Scott, just getting to have those reminiscing conversations with people that I've known for so long and don't get to see all the time. Like those are always just very special episodes to me. When it comes to booking the shows and getting to do this, obviously this year and actually tomorrow, the day after this episode comes out, is Beers and Bands Fest 3. It's crazy that episode 300 lined up with the show being the next day. I did not plan that. I realized it afterwards. But one thing that I decided probably around my second year of being in the Twin Cities. One, the Twin Cities has a great music scene, and I will never talk bad about the scene that's here. But I was meeting all these bands that were from outside of the state doing amazing things, and I was looking at their tour routes, and none of them were coming to the Twin Cities.
Mm-hmm.
Mainly because Minneapolis is such a weird spot, because we're 6 to 7 hours away from Chicago, 6 hours away from Milwaukee. Like, to come here, it's a trek, so it makes sense. But I was like, man, I want these bands to come here. Like, everyone that I've had on the show, like, is always putting out sick stuff. So I was like, I want to start doing Beers and Bands Fest to, one, give a thank you to all the homies that have been on locally, but also try and bring in people from outside of the state to be like, hey, come do this, and hopefully maybe, that trickles into floodgates, and then more bands start coming through. So it's been great just getting to build the connections to be able to be like, okay, sitting down with the band, everyone's cool, kind of pass the vibe check, and just be like, getting to ask that, like, hey, do you want to do this festival that I'm going to try and put on in the town that you guys haven't played in before, and just see how the fuck it goes. And thankfully, each year has gotten better. We're going into year 3. Hopefully year 3 is another solid time. I'm so happy with all the bands that decided to say yes this year.
It's the sickest lineup. I saw that. I'm bummed I can't go.
It's the craziest lineup I think I've ever put together.
I agree.
Shout out Flyover States, Daisy Cutter, Tiny Voices, Enswell, Bouquet, and Stars Hollow. Like, it's going to be a crazy night, packed room of like 125 cap. It's going to be fucking insane. Hopefully, though, as the promoter, in the back of my mind, I'm like, fingers crossed it all still goes well. I know it'll be fine. Minneapolis has not let me down with anything I've seen. But I'm still have that worry in the back of my mind. But I know it's going to go well, and then hopefully next year, still do Beers Bands 4 and just keep going and weather the podcast ends at some point, hopefully I get to kind of keep doing the festivals in some sort of rotation.
Totally, man. It's like hard earned that you're able to do that. So I was curious uh, if I may ask, like, is the podcast in support of being a show promoter? Like, did you have that vision when you first started? The like, oh, I'd still love to keep booking shows, but I need to network with these bands to make that happen. Like, was that on your mind when you started the podcast?
When we started the show, no, because I think at that point I was like one of the other reasons I kind of took a step back at that point from the music scene during that time was like I think I was just kind of burnt out from trying to put shows together. I think I had one show where like I ended up having to run sound, which if anyone knows me, I'm not the guy that should be running sound. And there was just like a couple things that just rubbed me the wrong way uh, with like how some of the shows that I was trying to put together were going and like people being on time. And I was just kind of like, all right, I kind of just not, I need to stop doing this. I know you kind of did some shows after I kind of took a step back since we were still doing it underneath the IAP moniker. So yeah, when we started the podcast, it was in no way to be like, oh, here's my way to get back in and start booking shows again. Like I was
Sure.
far from wanting
Yeah.
to do that at the time.
Yeah. I can relate to that conversation that it's like you're responsible for every band to show up on time, people's attitudes, the payout at the end of the night. Like you gotta sometimes you have to have those difficult conversations with bands, being the person in charge. And
Yeah.
so I can completely respect taking a step back from it because it's like it's a job to do. It's like not only a thankless job as the promoter, like you're almost like the enemy in a way sometimes, but and on top of that, like you're not making any money. If anything, you're the person paying out the bands at the end of the night, and they're
Right.
like, "The fuck, this is all that we made."
I
Dude,
remember
well,
the one
and there's
time there was one show where Thomas and I made money from booking that we were able to split $10 for a sandwich.
I, I I I don't envy you guys at all because I booked two shows now, and I the whole time I was like, after I booked those two shows, I was like, I don't envy my friends who have been doing this forever. It is so stressful and so much. It is rewarding seeing like having it go well when it goes smoothly. It's awesome, but when things are not going well, it's not going well.
Oh yeah.
Oh
Yes,
man.
leading up to this point, Michael, have you had any shows yourself where you're like, "This is a banger"? Like, I'm stoked that I booked this show, and am able to represent that. Like anything along the way that you were like stoked about or proud of as a show promoter, like leading up to your biggest fest to date. What
Uh
was your "I made it" moment?
like throughout my entire time that I've ever booked shows.
Yeah, totally,
Yeah.
man.
So I mean obviously I always think back to that first show that I ever booked at Gabe's, Charlie Siren, Molly's Worst Enemy, You're Too Kind was on that one, and then I can't remember who the other two were. I'll see it tonight when I go to bed. It's in my kitchen. The other one that I always think about every once in a while is uh, Hometown Heroes in the garage in Durant. No, in Tipton.
Tipton,
Uh,
yeah.
Hometown Heroes ended up becoming Bonfires out of Chicago. For people listening, trying to think of the other one that I thought. I mean, then I feel like a lot of things kind of become a blur. I know we booked like kind of Hot Mulligan and away. Two bands that,
Away.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, what's funny is Brandon Blakely, the drummer of Hot Mulligan, played back-to-back sets. So Kayak Jones actually played after Hot Mulligan. Um, and it was a local show during those days. It was 2017. But along the way, it's crazy to like look back and reflect and be like, oh, we had Hot Mulligan on a local show at Gabe's, but they played in the middle so that they could play to the most people at the time.
yeah. Which it's still wild that like so happy for Blakely and what he's doing. It's just crazy that uh, people know him for Hot Mulligan. We know him for bands that he would probably like. He would like obviously Kayak Jones. This isn't about Kayak Jones, but he would like we know about him from bands that he probably doesn't want the people to know about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whatever that first one was that we first met him, but like
Oh,
it's just
remember
crazy to
last
see.
fall. It's
Yeah.
still on
Thomas,
Bandcamp.
Thomas, we were trying not to say the band.
Oh, I'm sorry. Those
I mean, I
breakdowns were
couldn't think
sick.
of the band, so this works out.
Yeah.
But like just seeing like where all the homies have gone,
Yeah.
uh, but like that show was sick. But then I fast forward to probably like Beers Bands Fest 1, and doing it at Gabe's was to me monumental. Like there was a lot of Iowa homies on that bill that stayed around for the show. Uh,
Sorry.
but like I had to do that one at Gabe's just because one, Iowa City is kind of where the podcast really started, and like Gabe's was iconic for us. But then like fast forward to Beers and Bands Fest 2, doing the first one, hell yeah! Is that a
Again, this,
Carlos Maldonado original?
it sure is. I got a painting of Gabe's that lives on my desk at home. I look at it every day, and I think of you guys.
Mm.
But then Beers and Bands Fest 2 was like Beers and Bands Fest 1 was 10 bands. Beers and Bands Fest 2, I upped it again and I went 14. Uh,
Oh,
which I don't want to go back to 14 anytime soon, so I did 6 this year. But to think that I managed to get 14 bands together in one venue for an all day thing, you know, not to ride my own dick, but it's kind of cool.
Dude, that's more than most people in the music scene can say. That's insane, dude. 14 bands?
teen
That
band.
almost tracks on our 9 band bill that we had at the local DIY in Ames, Iowa. And that was just the clash of bands on tour at the same time.
Yep.
Yeah,
But
Michael. Zach Suter, I believe, was the one that asked. Um, is there any chance you will bring Beers with Bands Fest ever back to Iowa City?
I think maybe at some point it'd be cool to do another one in Iowa City. The first one that happened in Iowa City, the only one that's happened in Iowa City, uh, left a bad taste in my mouth. As the saying goes, not because of the people that were a part of it or Gabe's in general. It was just a bad like that. Everything was against me that day. So I booked the show. Like I secured the venue in probably January. Did know that that the city had also picked the same Saturday to be the Iowa City downtown block party. So there was literally a band playing outside the venue for free. So why would people pay to come inside and see these bands? And then I think it rained at one point, so obviously people don't want to be outside or go anywhere. So just that kind of really sucked to the point where I'm like, okay, maybe I at least got to do it at Gabe's. I don't know. I don't know when it'll happen again. I think at some point it should, but I don't know when right now. I would have to pray to God that nothing happens on that same day and we get lucky.
totally, man. And like I see the inspiration that we had when we were youthful. That's like let's bring bands to West Liberty, Iowa, because there's like not that much else to do out here. And like I see you taking that to a new place. And so I think it's so dope what you do, being able to provide that to bands who are like looking for shows to play. Like you have to have that inside connection in Minneapolis, like the Charlie Siren House, to make the gig happen in many cases. And I think that's like one of the most special things about the Midwest music scene is like there's of course there's the Gabes, there's like your local music venues, and then there's like the underground at the same time. Your college campus shows that are happening at like a fraternity house, for example, or like just even most recently, like I played a show with Brian in Ames in a basement, and Iowa State campus, and Tyler from Stars Hollow rolls out, and people were like, "Oh my God, he's here at the show!" Like,
My favorite thing is to go up to Tyler at shows that we're just chilling at. Like I got to hang out with Tyler, Zach, Matt, Jesse Ledbetter, and I'm forgetting someone. I'm sorry for that, but like we were all at the Joyce Manor show, and I was going up to Tyler and be like, "Dude, are you from Stars Hollow?" And like every time I see Tyler, I just tell him that, and he's just like, "Brian, stop." Just
it's
are you
just
from
it's so
Stars
awesome
Hollow?
to see the homies out there killing it. Coming from our music scene, just being like 18, 19 years old, and like we brought Survival Soundtrack to West Liberty, Iowa, and like here's Tyler Stodgehill sound checking with Forever Came Calling, and it's like that guy's my friend. Like I don't know you 100% yet, but like that's my homie, just based off of like what they sound check with. You know what I mean? So there was such a sincere forming of relationships in those days, just by booking local shows in small town areas.
Oh yeah, like I mean, thinking back to like the the core bands that we were running with during that era that we were really involved with the Iowa music scene, like we're still friends with all of them. Like we like obviously I'm gonna see Matt Prince next week. I'm gonna see Zach Suter next week. I'm gonna see Scotty next week, and I think Nate next week when they all run
Mm-hmm.
through. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just like we're still, if like when they all come around, it's like time hasn't changed in like a good way of just like we're
Yeah.
just vibing, having a good time. Like these are everyone that we've met through the scene that have stuck around and been like core have been top notch, and like I expect to see them all the time.
100%, dude. And like, I think that's the beautiful thing about Iowa and where we came from. Like you talked about with Tyler during your episode, that like our community was beyond just our city, which our hometown is 2,000 people. Our graduating class is like 85. Like everybody knows everybody. But then to progress beyond that scene, you're making friends in like Atumwa, Oskaloosa, the Quad Cities, Muscatine, and like gradually working our way across the state. And like eventually in 2015, we did make it to Sioux City, but it took a while, right?
Yeah.
So that was like behind Iowa Alliance Productions and like what we started, which was like, hey, what's up? We're from West Liberty. We'll book your band in Eastern Iowa. But then it was like about making friendships that went beyond our local scene and starting to show swap and like helping other bands get in front of new people. And I genuinely value the people that we met along the way. But man, like my hats off to you as well, that like being a local promoter, making those shows happen, like that was effort. Like it was genuine work that had to happen in order to bring those bands to new places. And like you're still doing that. And that's what I think is like the coolest thing about your show is like you come from like this grassroots small town Iowa booking shows, and here you are now doing that for Minneapolis, man.
No,
And it's not about
I appreciate. No, it's all about money at this point. Like
it's
It
all about
is,
money.
right?
we
Yeah,
got
yeah.
rent
This
to
man's
pay.
making big time money. You see, he's $20 a ticket now, Brian. Shit.
Dude, times are rough. I gotta
Time
charge it.
in this economy, being a DIY promoter, man, like our shirts are like $30 a pop now.
Yeah, it's wild. I'll just I'll
Dude,
just keep wearing the shitty shirts that I got.
that's a stupid shirt.
Uh, yo, that was a
Bro.
that was a collab with the homie in Elder Emo Co. Shout
Yep.
out Kellen if you made it
Yeah, he's
visit
I
to
take
wearing
the
the
it back. It's
shirt.
thing.
not a stupid shirt. That's my friend's shirt. That's
Hell
a,
yeah.
that's a stupid band, not a stupid shirt.
But yeah, man, it's been crazy, at least this week in particular, to like reflect on our experience coming from like high school and getting into the DIY scene, because I feel like that was our first community that we made outside of high school. And like I just want to touch on a small point that like during your episode of Tiny Stupid, there was like the bands that came to my wedding. I sincerely appreciate those people because like I felt like that was my family at the time. Like of course you have your immediate family, but then you have like the music scene, and that's like your chosen family. And so we brought people to West Liberty, Iowa. We booked shows with them. Like we made friends with them. We like loaded up Nate and Scott in our band van for Brian and I's birthday parties. Like when we were in college, like we just basically tried to establish friendships with people across the music scene. That's like your misfit community. And so just
It
like
is.
for
It, go ahead. Sorry.
thank you for the love is all I'm trying to say. Like as a show promoter coming from the middle of nowhere, having the chance to make friends with people is like the most rewarding part of the whole experience. And like I love you guys, you're my brothers, been here since middle school, and here we are still talking about music, bands, the DIY scene that was like welcoming to us straight out of high school. Like it's crazy to think about. Like it wasn't supposed to work, but it kind of did.
Yeah.
I don't think you did anything, Michael. I don't think you participated in a single show. I don't think you participated in anything. You're just Michael Torres to me.
Hey, someone's got to keep me level headed around here.
No, dude, like like Thomas is 100% right, dude. It's crazy to see like so many people end up like falling out of the scene, and that makes sense. Like they have lives to live, and it's really cool to see not just like the three of us, but to see like our all of our friends really do cool things, man. And it doesn't even have to be like music wise, you know, like I'm invited to two weddings this year because of the music scene. And that like to me that's validation that I'm not just some friend that they let tag along sometimes, you know. And I'm sure you get those validations too because you get to like you get to have a deeper connection with so many more bands than we get to, like Thomas and I, because you get to talk to bands. Like that is your thing. When I talk about you, I'm like, oh, that's my friend who has a podcast, Beers and Bands. It's good. And then I tell them to listen to the episodes where all my friends are on. But like that's the thing. You've done this. You built this. 300 episodes is insane.
Yeah, it's wild. I'm still, like I said, very surprised. Um, another fun fact: I haven't missed a Friday since like sometime in March 2021. So episodes have dropped every Friday since then, which I've thought about slowing back, but I just know if I change that switch just a little bit, then it's not going to be as consistent. So I just keep going until something goes wrong.
I respect it, man.
But now, man, like, are there any bands that you're hoping to have on this show that you would like to have, or do or like on in the same vein, like, what would you say are like your crowning achievements with this, man?
I mean, to answer the first part, I think there's still like the the bucket list bands that I would like to have on. Um, I don't think the list is very long, but I think the list is obviously important to me. I think some of the bands on it would be like such gold. Getting to sit down with Ben would probably then I would put that episode out and just be done after that because like that would be I think pretty peak for me. I think it'd be pretty cool to sit down with Walter from Rotting Out. Just like the shit that they're doing is super sick, and they've always done super sick stuff. I think it'd just be insane to kind of pick his brain a little bit. And then I think I would have to think a little bit harder on like the other bands that I would want on. I think I could think about it easily in the moment, but like right now I can't. And no one really comes to mind. Obviously, Crucial Dudes is one that I've already had on, so like I think that like they're already solidified. Um, but I could get you probably a better list later. But whether those episodes will ever happen, I don't know. I really like the pocket that I'm in with the more of the DIY bands. Um, when I start to kind of go up a tier with some of these bigger bands, it's always great. Sometimes afterwards, the promotion on their end is a little bit different. Nothing against any of the bands, it just it takes me out of it a little bit. But
Mhm.
who knows what'll happen? Ben, if you're listening, Walter, if you're listening, my line's open. Um, I think some of my crowning achievements from these episodes is probably a lot of what the list that I sent you guys. I think those are some of the episodes that really, if I were to tell someone, hey, check out my podcast, these are the episodes to check out. I think those are a lot of them on that list are the ones. So you know, like I think I forgot to put them on there, but Football Head, I had a great conversation with those dudes. It really felt like if Exit was around now and we got to meet Football Head, I think we would our both bands would get along very well. And that's kind of a big thing that I kind of gauge a lot of bands on. Is just like, hey, would we want to hang out and do more than one show with this band or be around this band? I think they're great. Obviously, getting to sit down with Major League, crowning achievement, Alec McVeigh, like I said, from Crucial Dudes, but also like the two episodes I've done with excuse me Haru have been great. Getting to sit down with a couple of the members of Kerosene Heights two different times have always been great. I'm trying to think of other people I put on that list that I sent you. Obviously, you know, building a better relationship with Matt Prince because I can't say enough good things about Matty P.
He's a sweetheart.
Yeah, and then obviously there's a whole bunch of bands that I probably didn't put on that list that probably deserve to be on that list, but um, I feel like I've gotten to do a lot of cool things on this podcast. Like I joked for a little bit that there was the Arms Length slash Wax Bodega tour that happened, and at the time that tour happened, it was Arms Length, Ben Quad, Carly Cosgrove, and Saturdays at Your Place. At the time that tour happened, I had already interviewed Arms Length before the full lengths had come out. Ben Quad after their major EP came out, and Saturdays had already been on the show. And I put out a tweet saying, "Hey, it'd be cool if I knocked 4 out of 4 and got Carly on." And then we sat down and did a Carly episode. So to have all of like those bands and everything that they mean to the scene right now is super sick. A lot of I've if the podcast were to end tomorrow, I'm very happy with what I put out there and who I've gotten to sit down with. Long answer, I know.
It's your podcast. You can talk as long as you want, dude.
I mean, you're the host. I don't know what you're talking about.
I mean, like when you think about it, as far as like being a local band is concerned, your like accolades are like, this is who I open for. And being able to be the podcast and be like, I've interviewed every single band on the tour package is like such a notable achievement.
Yeah, like to me, it was this cool thing of like, holy shit, like all the bands that I've talked to are on this in like some way. Like it's cool seeing like other tours kind of get announced and be like, oh, like I've hit everyone on that. Like I know Stars, by the time this episode comes out, has already done their tour with Palette Knife, but like they're doing that tour with Palette Knife. Kerosene Heights is on a couple shows as well. I've hit all of those bands. They've all
Mm-hmm.
been on the show at some point in time. So it's like, okay, cool. Like it's almost like I want to almost send who's ever putting the flyer together and just be like, just throw my thing on there and just be like, this is Beers of Vans approved, in a, like a weird conceited way.
Yeah. Michael, I'm just gonna throw the kitchen sink at you, like the rest of what I had prepared. So I've got a little something on me.
Oh,
And of all the bands that are on the merch box that technically belongs to your parents, what
yep.
band is still together?
Dang.
Uh, I don't know what stickers are even on that merch box. I haven't seen that box in years.
You looked at this box every day for about a month, and the answer would be not my weekend.
Oh yeah,
What? There's an Easy Mart sticker on there?
Yeah, yeah, there is.
What?
Easy Mark, 5 a.m. Survival soundtrack.
Yeah, a lot of Iowa OGs on the
Yeah,
merch box, but yeah, this technically was from your parents' garage sales, and
yeah. I borrowed it for him for like a show, and then it got left in the merch box, and I just never took it back. And then
yeah,
you guys started putting
somehow,
stickers on it.
yeah, somehow it ended up here with me in California,
That
but
checks out.
that
Well,
checks
because it
out.
got left at your house, so you moved to California, and you just were like, that one goes in the tote because it was already
I
packed.
guess. I guess. So yeah, we still have the OG exit emergency merch box.
Do you remember we lost the key for it at one point, and I don't know if
It
we ever got it back.
it just slides open.
Oh yeah, because yep, so we had lost the key. Uh, I specifically remember this. I don't remember where we lost it on tour, but I remember I was trying to take a nap in the back of the van as we were going into New York City. We were coming up to a toll booth, and we needed to get cash out of the merch box. So the way I had built bunks in the back of our 15-seater van, and I left a
Hmm.
small enough gap so you could kind of squeeze through like where the spot where like the sliding door would open, and you could kind of like squeeze into the back. Somehow, I was a little bit skinnier back then, but like I squeezed through there like I like must have grabbed myself and just like slingshotted through, but I shot myself up to like the second row, and then because no one could get the merch box open, and I had figured out the trick since we lost the key, which is basically you have to take the top half and the bottom half, and just twist it like this, and
Yeah.
now it doesn't yeah, because it's forever locked. So I did that, and I think about that moment a lot, of having to do that move because I saved us in that crucial moment to pay that toll in New York City.
That's
There's a lot of times you've saved us, Michael, on tour when you were driving. Um, Could you explain whip a shitty for me?
So whip a shitty, for people that don't know, is uh, making a U-turn basically. I don't remember what city we were in originally, but we missed a turn, and I was like, "All right, everyone, hold on, I gotta whip a shitty real quick." Everyone thought it was the funniest thing ever, and I was like, it's just a term." But then it stuck. But as far as I know, and Thomas, you can correct me on if I'm wrong on this. As far as I know, I'm the only person in the Exit Emergency family, maybe in our general friend group as well, outside of Exit Emergency, that has been able to U-turn a 15-seater van with a small U-Haul
A
trailer on
trailer.
it, like on a main highway, not like an interstate, but like a downtown like road. With like I U-turned that whole bitch,
Yeah, many
real quick.
times. Yeah,
Whip a
Yeah, many
shitty, dude.
times.
can confirm.
Mm,
It was
There's
one of those things where you would literally just go like whip a shitty, and then like the whole van would be like whip a shitty all at the
Oh,
same time.
so I don't know if I ever told you guys. So there was a band based out of like Idaho, I think. I'm blank. It's like Idaho, Wyoming, somewhere like in there. They were literally called whipping shitties, and I fell in
Yeah.
love with that band just based on their name. Last year, a band stayed at my house called Winter Forever, based out of Boise. So I think it was also a Boise band. And one of their guitar players that was kind of newer to the band, he was in Whippin' Shitties. So I got to tell him my Whippin' Shitty story and about
I
how
love
much I
that.
loved his band name called Whippin' Shitties.
Yeah. Were the definitions the same or different?
I think they were the same. I think. I'm
It
pretty sure they were the
means
same.
whip. It means pull a Yui.
Yeah.
U turn.
That's the way I took it, was just, hey, we're whipping a shitty, we
Yeah.
took the wrong turn.
mm.
Dang, dude.
What about the time, Michael, when you wouldn't let us go to Jack in the Box?
Oh god. Should have known this one was coming up. So the thing, okay, so we were driving to Missouri. This was like we were on tour at this point, or was this another like weekender?
I
We
feel
were
like we
going
were
down.
on tour.
Oh
I think
no,
we were on tour.
we were going down for Barn Fest. We were just going down to hang out for the weekend.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
no show. That's right.
Yeah,
We
we
were
didn't
just
have a show,
going.
so we were all in the mom van. I got this last leg of the drive, and we're at this point we're getting into St. Louis, and we're so close to our friend's house that I'm like, dude, we got like 15 minutes tops. We're almost there, and everyone in the van is like, let's go to Jack in the Box, and I'm like, dude, we're like almost there. There's probably going to be a Jack in the Box closer, and we're passing, like, I don't know what it was about that night, but like I felt like we passed a Jack in the Box on every single exit, and then like almost every block, and every fucking time everyone in the van was like, let's go to Jack in the Box. Why aren't you taking us to Jack in the Box? It got so bad, for people listening here. It got so bad to the point where these guys were all making Facebook posts, because we were high in the Facebook era, saying Michael won't take us to Jack in the Box. And it escalated from there to the point where our friends in other bands were making posts and commenting on those ones, yelling at me to take these five dudes to Jack in the Box. Like I specifically remember, because I think it popped up on like a memory thing.
Okay.
Tyler Zumoff, who wasn't in the van, was still in Iowa during that day, posting, Michael, why won't you take the guys to Jack in the Box? We were so close to our friend's house. Like, I was just like, fuck off. Like, we'll get Jack. Like, let's get there first, and then maybe go get food. Man, it was so stupid. But
It was so stupid.
but
Oh
yeah, that
man.
day every year on Facebook Memories is just so much shit of just, oh, this is the day Michael didn't take them to Jack the Box. Yep, that's cool. Remember that? Cool, 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 cool.
Yo, we got hate also because we didn't prioritize Waffle House. We should have went
yeah,
to Waffle House.
Yeah,
yeah.
So
we were young, naive.
yeah,
You
yeah,
guys
young
wanted
and
Jack in the
naive.
Box.
Dude, their budget meals were so good at the time. It was just the lore of it was
Because
so
we did stop at Jack in the Box eventually.
yeah,
I will
yeah, we
point that
did.
out.
Yeah, yeah. There was many of posts about getting there. Yeah, we all just ganged up on you to bully you and being like, "Let's go to the Jack in the Box."
we, we just bullied you until you took us.
Yeah, and I think I stopped at the Jack in the Box closest to our friend's house. I was like, let's get at least like off the interstate, like almost there, instead of like
Yeah, yeah.
40 minutes away.
We're cyber bullies. I'm sorry, Michael.
Do you think that do you think that affected the podcast? Do you think that moment affected this podcast?
Uh, to an extent, because I will never have Jack in the Box on this podcast. No matter what Jack wants to do, his box is never getting on this show.
Dude,
Um,
we've been going hard. We've been going hard. So I wanted to ask if there's any like I guess any highlights from touring that I'm sorry, you have such good verbiage for this about like we're pretty deep in the episode right now, so we're gonna any hit me with it, Michael.
Uh, I
Tour
know we jump
stories.
around a lot on these episodes because that tends to be what happens. But is there anything that I might have missed between my, or I guess Thomas? Is there anything that you might have missed in asking about my show booking career, my touring career, or my podcast career? Is what would
There's
normally happen.
there's one very specific thing that I want to ask you about, and I think now is probably a good time. So we happen to play a show with real friends at Gabe's in Iowa City. And if I remember correctly, it was their drummer's birthday.
That I don't
And
remember.
okay, we basically hit they hit the end of their set and we happened to open for them that night. So we had a band beer tap going, is what I'm hinting at. So they're like, "Yo, if you want to grab us a beer, here's like the last couple songs. It's our drummer's birthday, etc." And so I'm like, "Hey, yo, let's throw them a pitcher right now because we need to hit a minimum on the Gabe's card, and also, yo, could you take this up to them real quick?" And so, like, Real Friends basically stops the set towards the end of the night and says, like, "Hey, yo, give it up for Michael."
Yeah, because you post this video every so often, and I'll have to have you send it to me so I can insert it here for a second. But yeah, because one, I loved playing at games because beers for bands and promoters was super fucking cheap on tap. But yeah, we had the pitcher at the end of the night, and I took it up to them, and I remember making my way through the crowd, just being like, got beer for the band, beer for the band, beer for the band," and just like pushing people out of the way. And then I handed it to Dan. This shows how long ago it was. Dan was still singing for Real Friends, and I handed it to Dan. And I remember he goes, "Yo, what's your name?" And I was like, "It's Michael," and you could hear it in the video. And then Dan, yeah, goes, "Shout out to Michael," and I was like, "Yeah!" As they like he took the pitcher of beer from me.
Sir, real quick, what's your name? Michael, give it up for Michael!
Great night, great time.
Dude, yeah, it really was. And if I may personally share, I feel like we really grinded through it through the early years of Exit Emergency. And as we got nearer to the end, the shows only got better that we got asked to do. And so, like, we hit Silverstein. I set my friends on fire, which was just absolutely ridiculous.
yeah, was
Uh,
that the show that I got asked to stop stage diving?
yes,
They,
it was.
they, they
Yeah.
said, and I quote, my friend Josh Rees from Manhattan Blockade goes, "Brian, you need to stop stage diving." In which I said, "Okay." And then they immediately started playing Crank That, and I stage dove again. Um, yeah.
Dude, yeah. So as we grinded through it, it just got more fun and ridiculous leading up to the end of it. So those shows were awesome. I just wanted to interject the Real Friends shout out to Michael because I thought that was like valuable.
So Michael, if Exit Emergency ever asked you to go on tour again, would you do it?
Only for Exit, yes.
Okay. Well, it's
Yeah.
never. It would
And
never
I said this during Tyler's episode too, and I want you guys to hear it from me real quick. Like, your band was terrible and it sucked. No, just kidding. Like,
I believe you.
We were not known for being good. We were known for being able to drink people under the table.
yes, but if you look at I think without a doubt, if Exit Emergency, if things would have happened now and you guys would have been putting out those last two EPs at this current climate, we would still see more music out of Exit. Like the shit that you guys did was great, almost ahead of its time to a point. I know we were trying to keep up with towards the end there, Thomas. You were trying to catch up to Tyler because he was starting to do some tappy shit, and you kind of incorporated it. But like the last EPs are phenomenal. Like everything you guys have always put out, except for the bare minimum. Like everything has been solid, and I've always loved it as a fan, and also being like in the group as well.
Well, and then the funny thing to me with that is like Tyler was the catalyst to that change in sound because I started getting into Midwest emo, and I was like, Tyler, you play this, give me the bands. And he fed me bands like Brave Bird, he fed me bands like Glockamora, and like these bands became the foundation of what became like the last Exit EPs.
Mm-hmm.
And I tell Thomas this all the time. I don't know if I've ever told you this, but like not like talking from an ego perspective, but like talking from a perspective of music that I've done. Those are probably the songs that I think are the best songs I've ever written. I've said that like even with the songs that I've written in the past few years, I think Coping and that last EP are the best songs I was ever a part of creating. And that doesn't make me sad. I was just glad that, we got to do that together. And it's so cool hearing your podcast and you bring up Exit and you're like, you fully well know like you are a member of that band. Like a big catalyst of it ending was obviously T Money left me for San Diego.
They decided to be a Californian.
Yeah, so Mr. California over there. For the record, we've made it over 2 hours, and I did not call you Mr. California yet. But no, honestly, like you were so much a part of that band, and like both of you guys not being there, like it's like when he left, and then the band ended, and then you left, I believe, after him. If I get my timeline correct, it just wouldn't have made sense to continue that project because you guys were so much a part of that project.
Like that, I understand. I'm just more saying, like, if we were still at those ages now, like putting out that record, I think it would have been different. One thing I do want to point out, and I need it. I've said, I don't know if I've ever said it on this show. I thought he was going to leave during this very heartfult thing.
No, I got you.
Leave it to Brian.
so like I said earlier, I always, even to this day, have imposter syndrome all the time. Even like not as much when I was hanging around with you guys in Exit, because like I knew I was there, I was family, we were good. But like I never said like, oh, I'm part of Exit. Like I always would say, and I still sometimes say today, like, oh, I just did merch, drove the van, whatever. There was one night specifically, I think it was right after one of the EPs dropped, and Puckett and I forget his name, but Puckett had come to Iowa City for the album release show. We went back to Williams and like, had the after party and everything. And I was sitting there in that room with Puckett. I give him major props in this, and it's something I think about a lot. Is we were talking, and it could have just been me drunk rambling because he didn't drink, so he was dealing with a bunch of drunk people. And I had said something along the lines of like, yeah, I don't really feel like I'm just like the tag along. I'm not really in Exit. And he kind of put it in perspective, saying a few different things that I don't want to fully butcher, so I'm not going to fully say. But he basically, at the end of what he said was, you're part of Exit. You've been through just as much as they have. You're been along for the ride. So I think about that all the time. So like, positive syndrome aside, like when the Exit years, yes, they were mainly, I mean, you, and Brian, me, Thomas, Brian are probably like the three core members, whether I was played an instrument or not. We're the only three that I wasn't there at the very beginning, but I made it to the very end. Uh,
Totally did.
so
100%.
I was there for different iterations at the beginning. I will put it that way. But for Exit specifically, I
Yeah,
wasn't fully at the beginning, but
you
we made it
saw
to
it
the
at
end.
you saw
No,
it
but
at its formation.
Yeah,
well,
every formation.
and you stayed with us, and like again, like we really like me, Thomas and I often talk about how we really cut our teeth as that band. Like we learned everything from that band. We were not a good band. I often tell people we didn't get good until the end, and that's what's sad. We were an awful band until the end. Um, and one could even argue we were probably awful at the end as well. But like, you were literally like you are a part of that band. You like, I think of all the time when you would come up on stage and yell like during Misplaced. You would come up and do that every night when we were on tour. That was so fun, man. And it's just so cool because we all like we're friends because of music, but that's not the only reason we're friends. Like we share the same values. We care about people. We care about uplifting others, and like it's insane to see that after all these years, we're still like close friends. And I call you every Tuesday at 9 o'clock at night because I'm an asshole. And I call you as soon as I get out of work and go, "Hey, Thomas wasn't available. How you doing, Michael?"
Yeah, I'm always second thought. Don't worry, Tom. You're still number one.
Dude, like when I really think about it, when I was doing my show research to interview you, that you started booking shows in 2013. And so I had to do my research on the shows that you booked, which I think is more important than being in the band. Like
And
being,
I want to. You keep saying that I booked, and I want to make this clear. We booked those. You were part of that just as much as I was.
Thank you.
sure, we both had access to the same email. But like there were many of those shows where like you were the person there running them. And I don't want to discredit that. But being at the foundation of a band, like equally is as important as to booking the shows. And so that's where I feel like is when you joined the band was when we started booking shows with the band. And
Oh yeah,
you went beyond what we did, which we did like the tours and playing the shows, but you established the network, and like your network has grown 10 times beyond what we ever did. And I think that speaks for itself, man, that like you have such a work ethic and a passion for music itself. Like we had a band together, absolutely, but like your networking, your booking, that all speaks for itself as well with what you've done with the show.
yeah. I love that you brought that up with networking because I obviously with the day that this episode comes out, it's the same day that I'm going to release uh, the the Google Map that I've been sending you guys as I've been working
Oh
on it.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
You know, as of right now, it's fully complete. It has all the first. It feels weird saying that. It has all 300 bands or 300 episodes that have been on. But for people that haven't checked it out or are going to check it out, it's basically a Google map that you can that it's linked in the link tree, but it shows you the global scope of all of the bands that have been on, and I gotta say global with full authority behind it because I have obviously bands from Canada and the UK on it, but it's cool because it's all the cities that they're from, and then you can hopefully, as long as it works right, and I might switch map providers, but you can click on it and look at all the bands from that specific city, which is just wild. I think right now it's like 106 different cities, over 300 bands.
That's insane. It seems like it's truly like a labor of love.
Yeah, yeah. At this point, yeah, labor of love, and like I said earlier, like if I can't if I like I don't want to slow it down because I feel like if I slow it down, I'm just gonna slow it down too. Like if I try and do 2 episodes a month, I think I'm gonna something's gonna happen where I'm gonna like just slow it way too far down. So it's a lot of just keeping the grind going. I mean, technically, I recorded an episode on Monday, recording this episode today, and I'm recording an episode on Sunday. So I just keep myself busy. It's also a one man show, so only do so much with these episodes when they come out. You're not going to get clips most days because I don't got time for that.
Like, so what would you say to somebody who wants to do something like book a show or like start a podcast in which they like for lack of better words, like what would you say to someone who wants to get involved in the music scene that doesn't directly play in a band? Because again, like Thomas and I have said like this whole time, like you have had such an impact on the national level, if not international, because you're interviewing bands not in the United States. But like you have such an impact on the scene as somebody who doesn't traditionally just like play in a band. And there's so many people who are fans of music and they want to get involved, but they don't know how. So like how would you recommend somebody who could be essentially in your shoes that they didn't necessarily play traditionally in a band, but they just want to get involved?
I would say it's probably the scapegoat answer, but the easiest answer is go to those local shows. Like they're popping up. If you see a flyer, go check out that show. Get kind of familiar with what's going on. Meet the bands and say hi to them after their sets. That's a key, a vital thing to do because they'll remember you if you keep going to shows. They'll be like, oh, there's so and so that we talked to, and then it'll transform into something where you'll get to our point where you go to shows and they're saying hi to you when you walk into that room before they even play a set. And then you kind of bullshit for a little bit and just keep going. And I love those moments. But then from there, if you're trying to do, podcasting or booking a show, just keep building those connections. That way you can be like, hey, I have these slow bands. I kind of want to put this thing together. And then you'll meet bands from outside of town. And then, just make sure you have, whether the show goes well or not, if you present yourself as a genuine person and have a good time and can give the band a good time while they're at your city, that will last way longer than however much money I think you paid them. Because then they know, hey, as long as we come back to this town, good people are here. We know this person. Things will get better. And then if you want to do podcasting, run away from it so far. It's a great time. I have plenty of friends that I met doing podcasting that also do shows like this. It's definitely, if you're going to do it, just have fun with it. Don't try and be the next big thing. Just be yourself and just have a genuine good time. And that will bring in the people that want to be a part of it. Rather than trying to be the next big thing. No one's going to be the next big podcast. No one's going to be Joe Rogan. Don't try and be Joe Rogan level podcasting. Just have a good time and just meet the people as they come through.
That was great, Michael.
That was awful, Michael. I think you could have given way better. That was too nice.
Dude,
you're right.
Dude, it's so well put. Like, thank you for sharing your experience. This deep in the episode, Michael, what are you drinking?
So I started the episode with a good old Hams because it's basically the beer of the podcast at this point. But I have since switched to the GOAT of all beers, specifically in the 40 format, is the Colt 45, which, if people remember the sticker that I showed earlier, this is where I got the inspiration.
Love it.
My sticker is literally just a Colt 45. Shout out Kaylin, for putting these together. Kellen's a different friend that does cool things.
Hell yeah. I'm cracking my last beer of the night. That is the Phantom Bride IPA from the Deftones. It's like a local craft brew. So started off with Busch Light, ended with the Deftones. It's getting heavy.
Do I open my fifth beer of this podcast?
I mean, that's kind of
drinking buddies.
Yeah, that's kind of up to you, man. I thought Exit could hang, but I guess not anymore.
I thought we could hang, dude. I thought we could hang. Like where we ended up on tour stories.
I saw a full 6 uncracked beer there, Brian.
I
Sorry,
don't think
Thomas.
I
What
can
were you
do the
saying?
other one. Like I may or may not have had more than these beers that I have consumed at this time. I can neither confirm nor deny that.
Dude, so we left off in 2014 with Survival Soundtrack. In 2015, I consider this one of the best summers of my life. That we went on the excuse to get In-N-Out Burger tour, which involved In-N-Out for like 4 days in a row.
Yeah, that's all we
But
ate.
basically, we road tripped from Iowa to San Diego, and we happened to get sombrero just because. But can you
But I found that
any
T-shirt. I found that T-shirt in a closet, and I refuse to get rid of it.
Which
Michael, any memories from that tour
I
that
don't remember
you
getting sombrero at all. For one,
there's a picture.
Okay.
I don't know where I was because, but okay.
Taking a van nap. Yeah, yeah. So 2015, that's where we left off with
Yeah.
our
So one thing that I remember specifically was so we I drove the leg from like outside of Vegas into Southern California. So I remember waking kind of everyone up as we drove through Vegas at night because it was just like, hey dudes, like we're in Vegas, just
It
like look
looks
at the lights
cool.
type deal. So like it was kind of cool to kind of wake everyone up for that, which led to the stop when you go in from. We learned this as Midwesterners from Iowa. When you go from Nevada into California, there's like a checkpoint kind of thing going on, and I don't remember if it was for drugs or what, but we pull up and it's almost like a border crossing, but you're going into California. It felt super fucking weird. Asking us what we were doing, and everyone's asleep in the van, and they're like, "Hey, we need to check the trailer," and I was like, "Cool, cool, cool, cool," and I couldn't find my trailer keys because I made it a point every time I handed off my keys. My keys always consisted of like my home stuff if it were in a backpack, but it had van keys and trailer keys all the time. Someone took the trailer keys off of the carabiner because they
Was it
didn't
me?
like. No, it was not you. Uh,
Okay.
because they.
was it I? Like, did I do it?
I don't think it was you. I know
Okay, all
exact. I
right.
think
I'm
I know
like,
exactly who it was.
okay,
Um,
all right.
But basically, they took him off the carabiner because they didn't like it hitting the driver's the van key while they were driving or something stupid. Which this person drove for like once or just very limited. It was something very stupid like this. So I
Okay,
couldn't
all right.
find the van key, the trailer keys, and there's a line at this point behind us of people still need to go through this checkpoint, and this border patrol person, someone in a uniform, was being very calm with me in this entire situation because I was basically tearing apart everything in the front trying to look for the keys. Found them in my in the bunk area, so I had to open the back doors while two people were sleeping, which the person that I was like the person in the uniform was like, oh shit, and I was like, found the keys. um
Yeah,
it
people
was a whole
sleeping.
mess. Dude did ask what band we were in, so I did give him that information just so I could show him, open the back of the trailer. That was a whole fiasco. This is all still after going through Vegas. I'm trying to get to the end of my point here of the thing I remember the
Yeah,
most.
go. Take your
We
time.
get into Southern California. I could not find a comfortable position trying to sleep in the driver's seat captain chair, so I didn't sleep that entire night. And then my dad called me at like what would be Iowa, probably like 8 in the morning, so maybe at 6 in the morning California time. And I'm just like walking around this like really shitty like gas station rest area that we ended up parking in, and
Yeah,
looking around and being like, oh, why did I park here? So I was just talking to him, looking at the mountains, and it was like cathartic and shit like that. And then I think I drove us a little bit further, and then someone else took over, and then we drove from Southern California up to Fresno. And I was trying to stay awake as we drove up to Fresno, and then I think I started hallucinating at one point because I was so sleep deprived, but I didn't want people to take
yeah.
pictures of me. Uh, it was that was a wild ass day.
Oh, dude, yeah, that sounds about right. Dang. All right, so the homie Jake Huber wants to ask you about that experience.
QB.
So he wanted to ask you, this is an honorable mention for the episode. Tell us about the time the AC went out in the Mojave Desert.
Okay, so we're coming back from the Excuse to Get In and Out Burger tour, and we're starting our drive out of California on the way on our trek back, and our AC kind of stops working as we're like, shout out for Evercom calling, getting like kind of passing through 29 Palm, California, which I don't know how Joseph lived there because that's a fucking desert. Like that's some brutal ass shit. So we get off at an exit and we find like an O'Reilly's, try and get AC pumped back in. I bought like the canister, it wasn't working. We stopped at a gas station right off the rest, like right off the interstate, and I'm trying to talk to this guy in Spanish and trying to get him to like see if he can help us fix it. And he basically said like the shit's broken, like it can't be fixed. During this time, I saw this other 15-seater van out of the corner of my eye that has already left before us. And I had noticed when they were still at the gas station, it was a bunch of like probably like college-aged girls, and that's all I could really tell. And they got in their van and they left. So us not having AC, that'll come back in the story. I'm not just pinpointing that there's other like that I can sense women at gas stations that like I don't want. It's coming up. Don't paint me weird yet. So since our AC is out, the best we can do is basically have the front windows down, kind of crack the back windows, but everyone in the van at this point is either in our boxers or in a pair of shorts. No shirts. We're just trying to raw dog life as we're trying to get through the desert. We're
With no AC. No AC.
with no AC. It's just brutal.
It was so bad.
It's
I
so
remember.
bad.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm driving the van, and we come up on this other 15-seater van, and as I go to pass them, we see on the side that it said like some like university's name, and we realize it's like their like soccer team or something. And I distinctly remember that as we're pulling up alongside of them, they're all laughing and having a good time. And then they kind of turn slowly and look at us. And we're just driving by. And I can't remember if Jake was in the passenger seat with me or not. So we got like two kind of like a little bit beefier boys in the front seat, with no shirts, just like looking dreadful. And as we pass them, they kind of look over and see us. Their smiles fade, and then they turn and look forward and look away from us as we just pass them and just try and get out of the rest of the desert with no AC. Man. Yeah, that shit sucked.
Dude, you explained it so perfectly. Oh man.
My goodness, dude.
These are the first tears shed of the episode, man. It was brutal. It was definitely brutal.
Oh yeah.
Gosh, that was the hottest car ride of all time. I think about that van ride with no AC in the desert all the time.
The wild thing is that tour started as almost one of our coldest runs because we left. That was like early to late May, or like early June or some like right in that like pocket where we played like Sioux City. It was kind of cold that night. Then we went to Wyoming, which was fucking cold as shit, and I like brought mostly shorts because I'm like, oh, it's fucking May, bro. Like,
yeah, right, yeah.
And then we like I think hit snow when we went through Colorado, crossing over, and then yeah, we drove back through the fucking desert with no AC. Yeah.
So yeah, 2014 we did a tour that was around 30 days together. 2015 we did around 20 days together with the excuse to get in and out, and then in 2017 was the Wishful Drinking Buddies tour. And basically, like, if I may admit, the agreement I had with my parents that it was like, if you go to college, you can have the band and go on tour during the summer. And so that's where I had like the support from my parents to make the band happen. And so I went to school, and every single summer from like sophomore year, which I think was 2013, until about 2015, we were on the road. And then in 2017, it was like, let's one more hurrah with the band with the Wishful Drinking Buddies tour. And so, what are the highlights you had from that with Stars Hollow?
I mean, one, just the group that we got to hang out with. Obviously, hanging out with Tyler and Jesse Ledbetter. I know I said it during the episode with Tyler, but and I hopefully, Jesse, I messaged you back by now. I still haven't messaged you back since you messaged me after that. But like, just getting to kind of connect with both of them was super great. We had fucking Sage Weber of Point North drumming for both bands, which is nuts, and seeing everything that that dude has done since then. Getting to say I TM'd that dude at some point has been crazy.
Yeah. He posted a Meshuggah cover today. Like, dude, he's going off right now.
Yeah, getting to play, getting to be at the Canal Club for our dudes in centerfolds to be there for their album release show. I'm so happy we got to do that. But then the thing that distinctly I remember from the day after was the great 11-hour drive that we had to do, basically leaving the Canal Club to get to Toronto.
Yep. We stopped in
then
Altoona, Pennsylvania.
Yep, and then playing Toronto, not getting to sleep there, sleeping at a rest stop. That run also I remembered specifically because there was two different times where I woke up in the van and people were sleeping on top of the van, because that happened twice on that same run and on the 11-day run, which is kind of wild. But yeah, that run was just probably the most packed in 11 days could be, in the best way. And just getting to do it one last time, all of us knowing that, like, hey, look, this is the last one for Exit, and we just kind of went out with a bang, drinking. We drank a 30 rack every day.
Yeah.
We basically would kill one and then stop at our first stop of the morning was just getting another 30 rack and just starting it all over again.
Yeah, and the thing was, like, the majority of the people drinking the beer was Exit.
Oh yeah,
It was Exit.
One Sage was underage. He couldn't drink beer legally, and he also wasn't. I don't know about now, but at the time wasn't a big drinker anyways. Tyler wasn't really a big drinker. I don't think Jesse really was. So yeah, it was mainly just to feed our addiction.
It was yeah, dude. Well, it was funny because Brian, the other Brian, often talks about it. He's like, yeah, I brought 230 racks, and I thought, like, that'll last us a while, and it did not last us a while. We were burning through one a day.
Yeah.
Man.
I feel like what our band, so we evolved over time, right? And so I feel like we kind of became the fraternity band that, like, we roll up to a college party and, like, we come with the beers.
Because we did that.
We did that. Yeah. So, like, some of the shows we booked with bands like Dowsing and Microwave, like, were basement shows, but they also so happened to be on a college campus. And so we may or may not have rolled up with like a 30 rack to those shows.
Oh, I was thinking about the New Jersey show on the last run where we pulled up. So we pulled up a bunch of college kids selling house show. I don't think they anticipated us to be what we were. They knew what Stars Hollow was, I think, but like it was to the point where you and Brian were doing like beer skate in their driveway.
Yes,
we had Jake and other Brian beer bonging off of their porch roof. Which, looking back on it, like, we overtook their own house for a little while there.
Party band. And
then we almost got our shit broken into. Because we were parked on the street and they were like, hey, there's a car that keeps going up and down the road. So then we quickly had to maneuver the van and trailer into the driveway, which I don't know why we didn't park there to begin with. But yeah, we overtook their house and we showed up just probably obnoxious to a certain point that we were beer bonging off their roof.
That night, I remember Tyler Stodgehill asking me to stop doing my Tom DeLonge impression. I
did not know about that.
I was being so obnoxious because, mind you, we were having a few beers, and I remember going like, Brian, please stop doing your Tom DeLonge impression, please.
Oh man,
I regret nothing. We're still friends. We're still friends.
Man, dude, when when I think about those days, they went on tour with Frail Body first before they went on tour with us. So if anything, it was their fault. And
Yeah.
secondly, we never cleaned that beer bong that we made. Like basically, we pulled up on like a Taco Bell, Home Depot in the same parking lot, and, and like
Do you remember? Do you remember the long beer bong in Richmond? We
yeah,
made the
yeah,
really long one because we bought it and we didn't clip it yet, and so we did it off of a deck onto the floor, onto the grass.
dude,
Yeah,
Michael,
because
just
Jake went down there and then he found out it was muddy
I
afterwards after
remember
he got
that.
down there.
Michael, we got a shout out from the homie Ben Chucci, and he would like to tell you the following. Tell Michael to come over to my place sometime.
It's on my list. I need to get back out to Richmond. Shout out Ben and the dudes in Centerfold. I wish they would come back. I have at least a 7-inch vinyl with one of their songs on it, which I feel like is at least a win. And it was the first time we had Canes. Was in Richmond.
Thanks,
Dang, I didn't know that. That's deep
dude.
cut, dude.
Dude, I remember that now, and like maybe that's why every single time either Michael or I go to Canes, we send each other a Snapchat where we like say something and we don't lead into it, and then we go Canes, and we immediately switch over to our Canes that we're eating.
It
It
happens
was
a
Tyler
lot.
Sancho that suggested that, I think.
Yeah, I think Tyler suggested it, and we found that there was a Canes like real close to Ben's house,
Yeah.
uh, and then we went to it, and then yeah, the history
Canes.
was made after that.
So I honestly think the last thing that is on my list is the Exit Emergency reunion in 2019.
The first
And
reunion.
the first reunion. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. We took our a few years in between our reunion shows. But like that's honestly I feel like one of the last times that the band that we culminated together from like post graduation to this is like a celebration of the community that we built. That's as far as us three are concerned, that's kind of like where it left off before you started Beers with Bands. And so I'm like, what's the progression been between this is the end of what I was doing and this is where I'm at now? Like, I suppose my question is, how you feel, man? Like you've come a long way since we had the band together and all the touring, all the shenanigans, and coming into your festival that you're booking. Like, any last words that you have for the people?
I mean, I think I've said a couple times, like it's been a wild ride. It's been a great ride. I'm so happy that making it to 300 should have happened a little bit sooner. 2020 fucked everyone up trying to get the
Mm-hmm.
footing, but it's crazy that we're hitting 300, going into year 7, which is the longest thing I've done besides my where I work. Um, I I think I think it's been great. Everything's. I think the future's still kind of bright in some aspect. I think it's great. I think reminiscing a lot tonight still brings up those feelings of I miss a lot of things that we used to do. I miss being able to be in a room together like we were on that last reunion show. I think Andy Dwyer said it. Andy Bernard. Sorry, I mixed up two different people. I think Andy Bernard in The Office said it best. I wish we knew we were in the good old days before we referred to them as the good old days.
Mm-hmm.
Like those times are very special and will always mean a lot. But to see where we all are at since then, and not just me with this show, but like seeing where both of you guys are at with your projects and what you guys continue to do. I'm happy where we're all at, and I think the future's still looking good for all of us.
Preach, man. Like, damn, that was deep. I couldn't think of a better note to end on. Like, I don't know, Brian, did you have anything else? Like, that's basically everything I had in my notes prepared for the show was like, let's go through the tour days together and like really establish where Michael started like with burning us mixed CDs and like how we got to where we are now. And dude, it's just been such an incredible journey. Like, thank you for everything that you do for our band since day one, and like the things that you do for everyone's bands ever since then. Like, it's like the best way I can generalize the way that I'm feeling.
No, I mean I appreciate that. Like it's wild because like I just feel like I'm just doing my thing. Like I don't think about it in like a big thing, but then every I do this thing every time a new episode gets posted. I make the post and I go back and I make sure I message the band and thank them another time. Since it's usually like a month after we've recorded, to thank them one last time of like, hey, thank you for being part of this and being on the episode. And I messaged someone today about that, and they just kind of it's nice hearing from bands that are like, hey, thank you for doing what you're doing for the scene, because I don't feel like again, imposter syndrome. Like I don't feel like I'm supposed to be here. So to get thanked across the board from longtime homies, bands and then these bands that I'm just now encountering and making these friendships and stuff with means a lot.
I feel like imposter syndrome is part of being a musician. So like you're feeling what we're all feeling, and it's like just having a sincere gratitude to the scene for being a part of it is like what it's all about. So like thank you for your contributions and all your time spent on researching bands, listening to EPs and albums, and like hearing people's stories and then giving them a platform to tell those stories, because there's so much more than just the 4 to 5 song EP that comes out. There's like the years that are spent invested on those, and I feel like you really give bands an opportunity to tell those stories. So like sincerely, like deepest gratitude from us as like your homies from high school. And like dude, I can't talk long enough about like how from booking like shows locally, joining us on the road, man, like we could not have done it without you. And like that's I don't know. I can't dig deep enough to express it enough. You know what I mean? Like you were a part of the band. You booked the shows, you brought new people to town, you took care of people. Like your punk ethos just speak for themselves, and it's been since day one. Like since you burnt CDs for the homies up until now, like you're still true to yourself, and like that's
And
the coolest thing.
piggybacking off of Thomas, you're welcome for the idea for a podcast, by the way, Michael. No, dude, I'm kidding, man. Like, dude, for real, like, thank you for like all you did for Exit, all you do for like in general. Like, you're kind of like one of my friends that I bounce a lot of ideas off of. Like, just on a random day when I'm feeling kind of low, I'll give you a call just to shoot the shit, and it always brings my mood up, man. You do so much for the scene. You do so much for us as friends. Your contributions are just insane. Like again, I've said it before during this podcast, but you've done more than some bands have done in a longer period of time. You really give back to the scene in a way that, you know, like I wish we could give back the same to you. And all we can do is give you kind words because you really do so much for us and everyone else, man. You're really the man. You rule. Your podcast rules. This is not our podcast. If you think it's our podcast, mine and Thomas's, you're silly. This is Michael's podcast. It is not mine and Michael's podcast. This is Michael's podcast. Please stop mentioning me in your podcast, Michael. But no, dude, we love you, man. We're so proud of you. It's so cool. You're booking a rad show. You book a lot of rad shows, but you're booking a really cool show for your Music Bands Fest 3. It's insane, man. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you, Brian. I appreciate that. I think that's the most cohesive thing I've ever heard you say besides your wedding vows to your wife, because I was there and I officiated. Don't
Yeah,
forget. People don't
you
forget.
didn't mention that. So tell me about being an officiant for a wedding.
It was cool. I'd be down. Anyone that's is in the scene is trying to get married to whoever they love, hit me up. I'm certified. I don't have my shit on a wall behind me because it's still in. I need to get a frame for it, but more than happy to officiate any wedding. Be down to do it, denominational or not, whatever you want to do.
I can promise he's good at it.
10 out of
He's doing a
10.
great job.
Would recommend.
Beers with Band, episode 300, baby. We out here.
300! 300!
But before this fully ends, I want to give a big thank you to all the bands that have been on all the episodes. I obviously wouldn't be here if it weren't for all of them. If anyone's listening, do a deep dive. There's so many good bands that I've sat down with. A lot of bands, unfortunately, have probably died out, which is a major bummer because they were all super good and super ruled. Also want to give a shout out to all of the fellow podcasters in the scene that I've become friends with. Shout out to little known tracks out of Philly. Shout out to the homie Ryan over at Fresh Finds podcast based out of Detroit. Shout out to the dudes in Your Band is Garbage, I believe, based out of Columbus. And then shout out to my latest homie, and hopefully you'll see them on a show here shortly. Shout out to the homie Mick over at I Thought I Heard a Sound blog. Big shout outs to all of them for welcoming me into the scene. I know some of them have unfortunately not been as active lately, but hopefully we'll see them soon. But it's been great. Going into 7 years. I can't stress enough how crazy it is to think that we're going this far. Obviously we're hitting episode 300. We'll see what the future looks like for the pod and go from there, but hopefully a lot more episodes, more Beers with Bands Fest. I want to obviously give a last big thank you to Brian and Thomas for taking the time out of their Friday to flip the script and interview me on my show. I couldn't think of two better people to do this.
Love you, brother.
I love
That's
you,
my
man.
dude right there.
I love you, man.
I'd be remiss to not bring up as well, for fans of Brian, please go check out Eugene Levy and check out Burn After Writing. Some great, amazing stuff. Burn After Writing has some hot stuff in the pipeline. And then obviously for Thomas, check out, there's so many projects. Check out, if you're in the San Diego area, hire Thomas and Molly, the Tamale duo. Tamale duo, I think it is.
Yeah, that's correct.
And then he's got another band that I can't think of. They do other stuff. I can't think of it. I want to say August. I'm for some reason saying August Burns Red, and I know that's not fucking it because there's no way
No.
it's your fucking band. Last Autumn. Check out Last Autumn.
Last August Burns Red.
Check out Last Autumn. Have them play your shows. They just did a couple shows in the Midwest, which is nuts that he was able to manage to get San Diego people to go to the Midwest in not a warm time. But Brian, Thomas, any last things you want to say or get off your chest before we fully end?
Yeah, no, I just love you, man. I really do, man. You're one of my best friends, so thank you for doing this, and thank you for being the homie.
I hope for any listeners that have stuck this out, thank you. And I hope this does justice to Michael's effort from junior high to the great beyond. That is, this man has busted his ass for DIY, and thank you for all your efforts. Every band appreciates all you do. So thank you, homie.
I appreciate both of you, and I appreciate the kind words. Everyone, please, if you haven't already, go check out their bands. Be ready for stuff that they have coming out next. I feel like I'm going into I'm hijacking the very end to get us out because it's just in my nature at this point. Thank you so much for 300 episodes. One last big shout out to Brian and Thomas. Much love for you guys doing this, and I'll catch everyone on the next episode. See ya.